show just because of
Don't you
Retribution.
dare be sour. We are back. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey, hey!
Ho ho! I am Marcus, the grand finale for the Manny and Marcus show.
I thought it was
How you
the
guys
Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Is it now titled the Manny and Marcus show?
No, it's the Untitled Manny and Marcus show.
But you left that part out.
I left your ass out too.
Yeah! Wow! 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 Man, you
spicy.
Man, you coming in with that hot fire, man. That hot fire. I like that, Marcus. I like that passion that you got behind. I like that bass in your voice. I like that with your iconic shirt on. You know.
Cause I am iconic.
I'm glad you are, man. I'm glad you are. You know, and as the clickbait title of this show says, A Woman's Place, we're gonna be three men that discusses a woman's place in pro wrestling. It's not what it sounds like.
And we'll try not to be misogynistic for the whole way through it.
Hold on, Eric. Don't assume my gender, okay? Don't assume my gender. Neither one of you. Wow. I will be the woman of this.
Wow.
I'm joking.
What's your pronoun? What's your pronoun?
Manny, we're not even a minute in, and Marcus has already said something offensive. Man, this...
That wasn't offensive.
I think it kind of was, but I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was just don't assume my gender, which, you know, you shouldn't just go out and deal and assume people's gender and stuff. And then I said, you know, someone needs to speak for a woman, and I'm not gonna be the person.
How are you blokes doing today? I mean, you guys took off, only had to do 2 shows this week instead of having to do a watch along. Are you guys feeling refreshed and energized for this week's episode of the Sharp?
You say that like a watch along is like tiring. It's not. A watch along is not tiring.
A watch along is what I do anyway. It's just watch TV in this time of entrapment and in captivity.
You guys, I need you guys to do me a favor real quick. Just hold on 1 second.
How do we hold on?
Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
What?
Say you're opening again.
Did you not record any of this?
I did not get. So we're live. But the audio portion of the show was not being recorded. And I'm glad I caught it before we start talking about anything important.
All right, you start that again so you can clip the audio.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey, hey!
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale from the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Which is every Tuesday and Thursday live with occasional bonus content, baby, where you can watch live with us, like Watch Along, Cast Objective Change, and many other, baby.
As Marcus channels his inner Dusty Rhodes for the people who are listening to the audio version of the show.
No, he's Musty Rhodes.
Musty Rhodes. For those who don't know,
Rose, okay, Musty Rose.
I started recording the live stream, but I forgot to hit the audio button, and so only a minute went by of no show. So everything is perfectly fine in the Sharpshooters universe. Marcus, Levi is already attacking you in the chat. Marcus, talking about those Clippers can't play no defense.
Man, I can't watch the Clippers because of this goddamn show. Who told somebody to play some basketball at 10 in the morning? they don't want to play basketball at 10 in the morning. I mean, I used to play at 6 in the morning, but that was because after a long 8 or 12 hour shift. But you cannot play basketball at no 10 in the morning. You don't wake up and play basketball. This is blasphemous, and it's the NBA's attempt to hurt and injure the Clippers. And by the way, Kawhi Leonard ain't even playing today. Load management, homie. Don't talk about our defense. Don't talk about our hustle.
You know what?
Don't talk about our strength. We're going to be the champions of the world this year. And nobody's going to take it away from us until after the year when they say this wasn't no real season. And it's going to be bullshit because it's only going to affect 2 teams in this thing. And that's the Lakers and the Clippers when they say it wasn't the real season. They're going to say LeBron ain't shit because he won in a half a season. And they're going to say the Clippers didn't really do it. Championship in this fucked up city. And I'm just saying in this long rant that it's bullshit and it's
I really got to figure out a mute button for his ass.
Marcus, relax. Pop.
El Luchador, what's going on? Chris, what's going on? Marcus, you know, unfortunately, when you're not a real team, you don't get the 3 o'clock time slot like the Lakers get, but it don't matter.
You're a real team. Your team isn't even playing today.
They are. They play at 3 o'clock.
No, they're all sitting out.
I don't care. Marcus, I have never walked into an NBA season as nervous as I am. I feel like we're going to get clipped by the Portland Trailblazers. I ain't never thought that Charles Barkley could be right, but them damn Trailblazers are good, man. And they're not here to hear us talk about basketball. They want us to talk about what the click of the title of the show says, a woman's place in pro wrestling.
You're going to change the title by the end of this episode. I already know it.
To what?
I just clicked. Huh? I don't know. We haven't got there. We got 3 hours to go, baby.
Hey, baby, I'm not trying to go 3 hours. I'm only trying to go 2. That's what I'm trying to do.
AEW report is going an hour and 10 minutes.
So you
that player.
So you may ask, what 3 men has to know? What could we know possibly about a woman's place? Let's be honest. We don't know anything. But the thing is,
in the kitchen? Dang, you sick.
Oh man, Marcus,
You sick.
Oh boy. With that being said, the reason why the show is titled this is because I felt that a lot of things happened this week that were affecting women in the pro wrestling world. Being the announcement of AEW heels. Not heels as in wrestling heels, but heels as the ones that you wear. Your Louis Vuitton, your Ferragamos. I don't know. I don't have fancy shoes. Your Valentinos.
They were doing a double entendre, is what you're saying.
So for those who are not
that word.
For those who are not aware of what AEW Heels is, it's a new female-focused wrestling community led by AEW Chief Brand Officer Brandy Rose and the stars of the AEW Women's Division. Female wrestling fans can seamlessly access AEW Heels exclusive content and other special benefits, all in a safe environment for engaging in conversation and developing friendships worldwide. With an annual paid subscription of $49, members receive access to a variety of features, including virtual meet and greets, video conference discussions with industry experts, exclusive AEW talent Q&A sessions, customized merch, special promotions, themes parties, and more. The secure space enables AEW Heels members to connect, learn, and thrive together through shared passions for women's wrestling. Now, I read this, and Marcus...
Fuck that!
So, as I read this, and when they announced this, I wasn't upset at all. I felt like, oh, this is a great moment for women and to be having a place where they could go. However, it appears that I was possibly in the minority because the internet blew up. Marcus, please explain to us how the internet blew up over this announcement of AEW Heels.
Well, it was a combination. Well, I don't know why I'm the one that has to explain it. You're the host of the damn show. But
and it's your segment.
It's your segment. You brought it up, and I am unprepared to talk about why the internet blew up. But I will summarize for what I saw, or what my interpretation is. This was a combination of a lot of things. It was, one, this week, AEW did their Deadly Draw tournament, which was absolute trash. By the way, absolute trash. The worst 40 minutes of my life in watching professional wrestling. Other wrestling trash. Absolute garbage. It was starring one Brandy Rose and formerly known as Cameron, now Ariane of Total Divas. And they had there was a bunch of bad wrestling going on. Then, I believe the next day or maybe the day after, this was announced. And the wrestling community, the toxic, the volatile, very masculine, little whiny, bitchy wrestling community came out and was like, how could you rip off these fine people, these women, of $49, which is $4 a month? How could you rip them off with so much content? And why am I not involved? I'm going to flood you with dick pics.
Hold on, Marcus. Eric, I could see in your eyes that you were trying to question the maths, but me and Marcus worked out the maths pre-production meeting last week on Thursday before we even discussed this.
Because you know,
it's a little over $4. It's a little over $4, but
it's like $4.11.
Yeah, it's some change, but I just go $4 even. Because who cares about 11 cents? If you're really bitching about 11 cents, you need to get your life together. Okay? Get your life together. So they come out and they come in full force and they bombard Brandy's Twitter feed with derogatory comments, hate. I believe some people were sending dick pics. This led Brandy to saying, and I'm paraphrasing, fuck what you about, I'm out. and she quit Twitter. And this caused more of an uproar about why could she quit and the rest for it. And I just haven't been able to comprehend what the big deal about this was. Like, it seemed normal. To me, it was just like, she's doing something for the women fans, the female fans of wrestling, which is never catered to. This is mostly a male-dominated follow industry, and I do not understand why these tiny, bitchy, small dick people have problem with what Brandy was doing.
So Manny, do not bring that up, Manny. Do not say anything. We're just gonna ignore that comment in the chat. We're just gonna keep it moving. Manny, I go to you.
I'm never gonna know.
Manny, do you think that the backlash happened because it was Brandy Rhodes, or do you think the IWC is just a bunch of whiny bitches?
I feel like there's two sides to look at it. It's like, oh yeah, there's got to be some type of inclusion going on where everyone's involved. But like when you see the actual backlash that happened, you can see why some women they feel like some women may need a safe space to talk about wrestling, interact with women's wrestlers where it's not going to be disgusting.
I mean, the thing about it, and Marcus tried to say that the Deadly Draw was announced and then this was announced. Actually, Brandy talked about AW Hills maybe about 2 months ago, that she said that it was working on something and eventually they would have an announcement because she was just trying to make a safe environment for women who enjoy watching professional wrestling, which I think is a very, very nice thing to do, for the simple reason that there's not many females that we know that are into wrestling and who wants to be around with a bunch of guys who respond like whiny babies. What can I be a part of it? Look at my dick. And it's probably not even their dick that they're showing. And it's like, it's like, I feel like if you're going to create a women's community and then you let everybody in, like those women who are trying to help the community, there's going to be some people who are going to be in there that's going to distract from the movement that they're trying to do by trying to maybe holler at Penelope Ford instead of trying to figure out what they can do to make women more inclusive in professional wrestling. Don't you do it either, Marcus.
I just sent Marcus what was said.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Bonus content will probably be the highest bonus content ever. Views.
I mean, Levi says.
But I agree with you.
He says wrestling fans are the lowest common denominator. All one has to do is go to a wrestling show in the South. I don't want to go to a wrestling show in the South, so I would not do that.
I don't want to eat dinner in the South. That's how bad it sounds over there sometimes.
El Luchador said backlash happened because men are terrible. Not all men, but enough men, and especially on the internet. I think that a lot of people are. It just, to me, I've been into photography for a long time, and to go to a conference with a photographer that I might be a fan of their work, at minimum, it's $5,000 in so many cases. And if you even put it on to just being a Zoom conversation, it can still be $1,000. So when it's $49 for a whole year to have this gateway into a woman's mind that's in the industry already, whether you agree with what Brandy does or not, she is in the industry, and maybe to speak with Penelope Ford, to speak to Sheeta, speak to Nyla Rose, it's a great opportunity. And I mean, as a wrestling fan, if I was an aspiring male wrestler, I would say, man, I hope they do this for the males too, where we can be linked up with the men, so we can speak to how can we get into the business.
But the men have this anyway, right? Like, it's safe to talk to other men about wrestling. Like, imagine, I'm just going to go with a WWE wrestler, Alexa Bliss saying, hey guys, I'm going to do a wrestling seminar for everybody. There will be nothing learned or able to communicate anything, because in the chat, they'll be going like, hey, Alexa, will you go out with me? Hey, you want to see my dick? Hey, what's going on with this? Who you fucking? Who you doing? And like, men are terrible. And if you go into any forum or chat, when you see a women's post or they say something, or if they just post a picture, it's more like, oh, I fucked them titties or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Well, no, but
that also goes into a few weeks ago. There was a story about Brandy Rhodes anyway, where she was talking about having to close off her DMs because that's all people were sending her, dick pics and everything, which is just like, who is disgusting enough to still do that these days? Like, I was going to preference it with a joke after that, after she had to feel to say that, but then I was like, there's no need to make jokes about that. That's actually a horrible thing men do towards women.
And, and the thing about it, the reason why this hits home with me is because, like, women are being treated like minorities are being treated. And as Levi posted in the chat, he said when he was in college, he would go to wrestling shows in the South where he would get called the N-word when he entered the room. And that's just like how it is. Like, if someone made a wrestling group where it was inclusive for minorities, so you can understand how a minority can get a better imprint or footprint in the professional wrestling industry, I can see people clamoring, knocking down, this is bullshit. Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to do that? I do not see what's wrong with it. It doesn't apply to me. Good luck to them. I have never been compelled to say, you know what? I'm going to show Brandy I'm so upset. I'm going to take a picture of my dick and send it to her and tell her she sucks. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've been highly critical of Brandy. Mostly her in-ring work and her TV characters and all that. I'm going to talk shit about her like that. She sucks. She sucks as a wrestler. But what she was doing here was nothing negative that deserved any backlash. Like, I want criticism where it's deserved. Equal opportunity criticism. But this would seem like it was a nothing story that became a full-blown, like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't get it. And I hope this doesn't stop the development of AEW Heels. And I hope more people do sign up. In fact, I would make sure that I would do it in spite of any men or anybody that has hate. Because $49 ain't shit. I would donate $49 to any woman that wants to be in that group. And I'm broke.
You know what? That's the point. If we had some women listeners and they want to be a part of the AEW Heels, I think that Manny, Marcus, and I think I've added somebody else in there. We could all get a collection to help them join if people would buy our t-shirts if they visit storefrontier.com/DSPN. And then, we could send people to get some, some counseling.
Shout out to our luchador for buying one of our shirts.
Oh, what? We saw one.
We did.
We saw one.
I haven't got no email. Well, thank you, El Luchador.
Let's give a Samoa Joe, Tom Phillips hand slap and a pat. Whatever they did. Yep. That looked inappropriate.
So, moving on. Brandy Rhodes wasn't the only person to take heat from the social media purists on social media. Lance Storm decided that he would send this tweet out. He said,
Excuse me, unofficial correspondent of the Sharpshooters, Lance Storm.
Okay. Unofficial correspondent of the Sharpshooters, Lance Storm. He sent a tweet out. He says, I see some discussion on intergender wrestling matches again. In light of hashtag speaking out, I think these matches have to stop. I've heard from so many women who are uncomfortable doing these, but felt obligated to get booked because these matches were accepted norms. After this, he became attacked, saying that, how dare you try to remove women's wrestling out of the world? Women need to have a chance to. And like, he was just defending, like, they don't need men to be successful. And all, like, they attacked him. Everyone knows, if you've listened to the show, I am not a fan of intergender matches. I just don't like them. I can understand where it could be a very, very precarious situation for an aspiring female wrestler to be in on the indie scene. I don't know. Manny, how do you feel on the whole intergender wrestling conspiracy?
I'm not a big fan of it, but I can see like certain people like it, but I go back to a interview done in 2017 on the Sam Roberts podcast with Cody Rhodes.
Damn, he's going with facts, Mark. He's quoting stuff.
Oh, wow, facts! Cody!
So Cody Rhodes is not a fan of this either. So he said, just the concept of a man touching a woman, I don't know. I'm very conservative. I don't know. I'm from the South, so you can't just put your hands on a woman. However, a lot of women in those matches want those fights.
That goes around everywhere. Not just the South, Cody. But I'm just saying.
So, like, I personally agree with him. And, like, imagine you're in this set where you're a performer, but your wife's also a performer. So imagine now, like, for instance, you're Johnny Gargano, and then his wife Candice LeRae was messing around with the dick flip himself, Joey Ryan, all that time ago. And would you not feel uncomfortable? I'd feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want it to happen. And then when we're watching pro wrestling as it is, we're already trying to dispel our disbelief. But in the pre-production meeting, although Manny and Marcus became very intrigued with Brock Lesnar versus Charlotte Flair for whatever reason.
I just want to know why.
You brought it up, and we wanted to know how you would get there.
I don't know how it would get there, but it would get there. But
Did Brock Lesnar beat up Andrade?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just that one of those things that I just don't want to. Like when Tesla was the world heavyweight champion at Impact, I was like, I mean, it's making headlines, but I really don't care. Marcus, do you have an opinion on this?
I do, and I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
I am going to be in support of intergender matches, but not really. But as I agree with like the last start on the indies of being uncomfortable and like them booking people to be in bad situations, similar to wrestling like a Joey Ryan or someone groping them in the middle of the match and stuff like that, and they not being able to speak up. I 100% agree with that scenario. But, you know, this is a fictional product, and you do see a lot of intergender battles in movies these days. Whether it's watching Charlize Theron in, like, movies beating up dudes, or if you watch any of the Marvel movies, the least powerful Marvel person, Natasha Romanoff, a.k.a. Scarlett Johansson, is whooping up 80 dudes at a time. 80 dudes and aliens with their own weapons. So, in fictional lore, this has happened everywhere. So, why is it not appropriate for this to happen in wrestling? And to say that I do believe some of these women could beat up a lot of these guys. Like, you trying to tell me Charlotte could whoop up some Sammy Guevara? I think she'll kick his ass. Like, I wouldn't think Brock Lesnar. Or, if Jordan Grace got into the ring with Marco Stunt, beat the shit out of him. Or
yeah, but I think he's.
Boy. I know.
I think Lance Storm was looking at the more seedier side of it, where a man might go do this with me, and so. Well, and I'll push your career a bit more further.
He actually gave me examples of how it happens. But before Levi said in the chat, the women themselves were complaining about intergender matches due to injuries. It also is too close to fetish crap. As Lance Storm gave an example, is that on these indie shows, there's like one guy. There's no HR department. There's one guy that's in charge of everything. And that one guy, you don't know if he's in cahoots with somebody. So let's say Marcus, Manny, and I had a wrestling company. And we told this female wrestler, oh yeah, we're going to book you against Jacky Johnson. You're going to fight Jacky Johnson. Of course, when you get to the show, Jacky Johnson...
name. How basic is that?
What?
They call her JJ.
Jacky Johnson sounds like a black name.
They call her JJ.
Is he male or female? He's male, right?
She's female.
So Jacky Johnson's female.
So you have
the guy. I'm sorry.
Because you're talking to Alice Marcus, who is a female who we have booked to the show, and she's going to face Jacky Johnson. So
I'm Alex Johnson. My gimmick is just like Bailey was, but it's a little twist.
So next thing you know, Alice shows up to the show, and I'm the promoter. Oh, I'm sorry, Jacky Johnson didn't make it to the show. And
what do you mean Jacky Johnson didn't make it to the show?
And so
what happened?
And unfortunately, Jacky Johnson didn't make it to the show. But I would like for you to wrestle Lord Manny Hayes.
What the? Don't put my good name in this. Even though Lord Manny Hayes is a clear fictional character, but don't you ruin this fictional character just like J.K. Rowling is doing with all her characters.
Okay, wait. Lord Danny Hayes then. Lord Danny Hayes is here to wrestle you. Now, me and Lord Danny Hayes,
we took your WWE name. He took your WWE name. Now you're Lord Danny Hayes. And too.
So Danny Hayes is like, yeah, but Danny Hayes is known to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more gropey, and he's had his eye on Alex for a long time. So in the match, she can't say no. because she can't say no. Because what will happen is that if she says no to having this match, I, the promoter, will go around and tell all my man, Alice Marcus ain't shit, man. She wouldn't get in there. She wouldn't work. She wouldn't do anything. You don't need to hire her because she ain't a team player. So at that point, she's put in that situation where I have to do this match when I really didn't want to do this match because I want to fight Jacky Johnson. But Jacky Johnson no show. I'm just saying.
If you pay Jacky Johnson up front, that is your fault. That is your fault, man. Jacky Johnson up front.
So Marcus, you want to know something? So if you want to know something hilarious, I have been playing Fire, a pro wrestling promoter, and when I invite independent wrestlers that are not signed to my company to wrestle, they do no show, and it's very disheartening, and it makes me upset.
That's because you're a bad promoter. You don't know how to treat people, right? Oh,
I like to see you play this game, man. It's really something. Shout out to Jacky Johnson out there if she's listening to this show. With that being said, also
all the Jacky Johnsons.
Going back to Brandy, this is how misguided the internet was. The internet decided then to attack Brandy on the booking of the AEW women's division. And her response before she went dark was like, I don't book the women's division. They have bookers for that, and we all know who that is. That is Kenny Omega. But yet, nobody was attacking Kenny Omega about his booking of women. They were going after Brandy.
It's easier to go after the woman because you or the person that you consider you don't want to meet. When Kenny Omega is like, oh man, that's my favorite wrestler. Oh man, I don't want to make him mad. But by the way, I want to paraphrase that I agree with Les Storm, Eric, and Manny's sentiments on no intergender matches. I was just playing devil's advocate about that. Okay?
Okay. All right, Alice Marcus.
Clarify, because of last week, Stu Grayson comment, all right? Apologize.
Marcus, why you bringing up old stuff, man? You gotta let stuff go, man. Jacky Johnson will let it go.
Well, he had to apologize twice on the Manny and Marcus show.
Why did people guilt trip Marcus into it?
No, I feel like I brought it up once, but then he just did it on his own the second time.
All right, but also Brandy let some insight in one of her comments. She said that the intention for the Deadly Draw was not to be on YouTube. I guess it was supposed to be a part of the show, but Powers to Be said no. We'll make it a YouTube show. Marcus, no. Your face tells me you're happy that happened.
Well, it's a choice, right? Now I have a choice if I want to go see some shit instead of being thrown at some shit. Like I'm really pleased by that. I'm really pleased.
I made it through the first match. I didn't get to the second match.
You made it?
Yeah, I made it through the first match. I didn't get to the second match where Nyla Rose and Ariane was upset by the former girl Tayante. I don't know. She was in NXT.
Tayana Conti.
There we go. And her team partner. So, with that being said, let's get to a little bit.
Well, Eric, those types of shows, because it's on YouTube, watch it on 2-speed. You'll get through it in double the time, and you'll enjoy it more.
Manny, I have to watch it because I used to watch maybe 3 or 4 years ago to get through all the wrestling. I would watch wrestling at 2 times speed on VLC, and we would come and do the show, and I'll be like, man, that was such a great match. They were moving so fast and moving, and I was not taking into account that they were moving at a faster pace than what the real match was taking place. And I was like, oh, wow, this really does mess up the pacing of a match. So,
but the one thing I'd say about the women's show essentially being on YouTube, if you're watching it, give it a chance, because it may lead to, first of all, them improving their women's division, and then giving the women a shot and having a completely women's show only thing on YouTube, which may work, and you'll see a development of their women's division, and good things will happen.
Hopefully,
that's a positive outlook on that, Manny. I'll be sure to do that.
Even though the first episode was dog shit,
absolute dog shit.
Hey,
only thing I can compare this show to is the WWE Mixed Match Challenge, which I really enjoyed. And I wish they bring back. That was a really good show because it just seemed like everybody was just goofing around.
Everything starts off someplace, Marcus. That's all I got to say. But this week in professional wrestling, I felt was a very good week for professional wrestling.
You're crazy.
I thought each show that I watched had something to offer to make you say, you know what? I didn't waste that much time watching wrestling. And it's time for us to talk about that right now. So we need to just show up. El Luchador, I do not really like indie style wrestling, which is why I have such a hard time watching the AEW. It really does bother me. Just to answer the chat about that. I know. I try to be better, but I can't. Monday Night Raw started off hot, Marcus. And I know you guys talked about this, but I haven't. I don't know what you guys said. Apollo got into the ring, defeated MVP. He said after match when he was interviewed, he said he had to explain to his kids on numerous occasions if he was still the champion because his kids was watching Monday Night Raw and he saw MVP talking about that he was the new champion. But because now he's the official champion, he will now put that old title in his kid's bedroom as he walks around with the new beautiful title. MVP is irate because apparently whoever's in the production truck, while the Hurt Business was still in the ring, they decided to play the backstage interview on the screen. And MVP said, I don't give a damn about your wife and kids. And I want a rematch. Thank God Shelton was there to let him know you want that rematch on SummerSlam so you can get more money at the pay window when you win. And
that's why he's an executive, Eric. Yep. That's why Shelton is an executive.
Yep. And you know how to get that money.
He said then at that point, you will not win with all these technical difficulties. I really love this opening match. Marcus, is there anything about this match that you didn't like?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything special. It was more like, hey, we need to settle this what happened because we didn't get what we were supposed to get at Extreme Rules. Let's settle this shit here tonight. Just be done with it. And, you know, they're going to go to SummerSlam. I don't find any expectations for this match at SummerSlam. I think we got the best of it here on Raw. But, you know, I thought Apollo did a really good job on the mic afterwards. And I enjoyed MVP saying, I don't give a damn about your kids.
Manny, do you have anything? Do you care about Apollo Cruz's kids and them not knowing their daddy's not the champion anymore?
Do you know what? Stop bringing people's kids up in wrestling. Like
it makes it personal.
First we had what's her face, Lacey Evans, dumb child.
You know what? Her dumb child was involved, and she was the best child actor I've seen on WWE program ever.
No.
Better than Dominic back in the day.
No, the Mrs. daughter. She cried on cue when those puppets came out.
Moreau Sky has a place in the business, you know. Moving on.
But that's terrifying. She thought it was
real. We got a great Golden Role Models package that was presented by Sasha and Bailey, which led to Sasha getting knocked the fuck out by Shayna Baszler, which like, wow. I was like, that escalated really, really fast.
Well, she nearly knocked the weave off her head.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was well deserved though. It was well deserved.
I'm curious, do you guys follow Lana or Rusev on Instagram?
You mean Myro and
Lana? Yeah. So Hero. If you don't, when you said knock the wig off, they are having a segment, Will the Wig Stay? Where literally Miro was spraying a water hose in Lana's face to see if the wig would stay on her head.
Do you really think that was about the wig staying on?
Marcus, I don't know what it was.
About the wig stand. That was him putting a hose through her face in a bikini. It was all about the sexualization of women on YouTube.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that got so many likes.
I'm pretty sure it did. Moving on.
Our Tuesday show. I had those girls in there. Look at all the views we got on that one.
How many views did you get on that, Marcus, with the dancing girls? Do I need to find the dancing girls?
I think it doubled last week. It didn't double.
No, we hit 100. I can't remember the actual number now.
It's 114 on that one. 114. It's all because of the dancing girls.
Marcus, great comment from El Luchador. And, spoiler, El Luchador will be on the show next week, his first time. He says he heard there are rumors Stephanie is going to do a show on SmackDown called SmackDown Rooftop, where they'll have boxing matches on the roof. Marcus, you being a big avid boxing fan, would you watch SmackDown Rooftop?
Well, I believe that's the opposite of Raw Underground, but yes, I would. The Brawl for It All was the greatest event of all time. No. It's terrible.
Speaking of someone being a humanitarian, Marcus, your boy Kevin Owens, you've been riding with him for a long time. He had a KO show with the purpose of reuniting his friends, the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riot. Marcus, were you happy to see them reunited, or were you more happy that the women's whose shirt that you are sporting right now tried to put a stop to it?
Well, one, I'm happy that they reunited because that gives you another female tag team in the game. Two, they were nothing without each other. Nothing. And the mentioning of Sarah Logan moving on made it sound like she died. Not that she's giving birth to a baby and that she was fired this year. Oh, and that her husband is in the underground.
Hey,
none of that.
Don't knock. But Eric looked great in the underground. I was like, that's the first time the evacuators look like real men.
I'm just saying. They always look like
Hold on, when they were throwing axes, they looked like real men.
They did, but I'm just saying, like, they were in their element. Like, when we get to the underground.
We'll talk about the underground later. But I want to talk about Kevin Owens. Now, a news story report that the WWE are upset that they keep getting their ass beat by AEW in the ratings. Fuck you, Chad. That they keep getting their ass beat. And there I see Kevin Owens in this segment on Monday Night Raw, who has no reason to be a part of this. None whatsoever. Isn't spicing it up for me. It could have been anybody. It could have had Byron Saxton in the ring. Just throw him on NXT. Put Kevin Owens on NXT. It will make more sense. He wants to go. He doesn't need to be on Raw and SmackDown. He's another star that can add to the foil. You have him make a surprise appearance on NXT, and you have something right there. He doesn't need to be involved in this storyline. Or any of these Kenny O Show storylines he's been involved in. Whether it's Rey Mysterio or the Riot Squad.
I didn't talk about this in the news segment. One of my favorite stories this week was this fact that, as you said, that they are frustrated with AEW beating NXT, and there's reports that they're sending a couple of writers from the Raw and SmackDown brand down to NXT, and I'm like,
it doesn't need that.
But my question, Betty, like, they can't fix Raw and SmackDown. How the hell they gonna fix NXT? Like, it just made no sense.
Unless they're sending Daniel Bryan down there to wrestle and write. There is nobody on that writing staff that's going to save them from AEW right now. AEW is the hot new brand that, as Chad say, is getting the better rating. I'm just saying, the storylines on NXT does not have a problem. Just add, if they want to improve the rating, just add the people you're currently not using to their potential. Add Mustafa Ali, or Ricochet, or Kevin Owens. Hell, you can put Nakamura and Cesaro on the show, and people will be intrigued. Just do shit like that.
I honestly think that's the two you should bring. Nakamura and Cesaro, and more people will watch.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to get to a stage where we're just throwing people at NXT.
Well,
and then it discourages the rest of the roster on NXT.
I like, for me, and this is hard for me to say this, but I think what it comes down to, and I think El Luchador might be right, NXT might not need to go to another night because it's not a fair comparison. AEW Dynamite is being presented as a Monday Night Raw. It is being presented as a big-time show, a big-time event. They have fireworks, they have smoke and mirrors, they got all this stuff going on. When you go to NXT, although it's a fundamentally good show, but it's like watching a Shotgun Saturday Night or Superstars. It's like there is no extra pizzazz to make this show feel special. And that's the thing that's lacking.
I don't think they should move another nights. I don't think that's the solution. I think that what they have has proven that on nights, they can't beat this AEW show. On nights. And it's always little sprinkles of whenever they put one of the Raw stars on there. And they don't have to do that every week. And I don't want to take, like Manny said, spots from the current NXT roster.
You do. But you want to win, Marcus. You want to win.
The secret, let me tell you, the secret to beating AEW for NXT isn't in the ratings. It's just outlasting them. It's endurance. It's cardio. Eventually, something's going to happen, in which the wrestling fan base, the toxic community that I am a part of, will find some reason to turn on AEW, just like they've turned on WWE. It always happens for every single promotion. There is that turn of drop-off when you go like, what the shit are they doing? I'm not watching this anymore. And it's how you keep that audience alive. Whether you're TNA, whether you're Ring of Honor, whether you're WWE, if you can sustain that drop-off for when you do something that offends everybody, that's for sure if you're longevity. AEW hasn't had that setback yet, even with some of their bullshit.
Now, Manny, I'm going to ask you a question that Levi said in the chat. He says, if AEW gets Wednesday night unopposed, they will start to rival Raw numbers. Do you think that could happen?
It could, but like, Raw's got the longevity, so I feel like the longevity will rule out.
Like you think they can get 1 million views?
Well, I don't. The thing is, Raw and SmackDown average around that right now.
Yeah.
But like, AEW's never proven to get any higher than what the first week it was on 1 mil.
But I think that's because NXT is on, right?
I don't know if NXT is taking views from AEW because I feel like the people that watch AEW are also the same people that watch NXT. But
I feel like the real test will be in like when AEW's push for 3 weeks to different nights. So that'll be the real test in types of viewing.
I don't expect a NXT number to change. I'll be interested to see if AEW number will go up or if it will go down.
Can I pause and say I think I know why AEW had such a jump this week? They have better lead-in shows for advertisement. I'd rather see, like, I don't know what the Alienist, the show, does in ratings, but you get like 800 Dynamite commercials whenever that's on. And when you're watching the NBA on TNT, you get 900 different commercials on AEW Dynamite on the NBA and TNT while it's on. I'm just saying, maybe their advertising and marketing is just better than NXT. Because NXT, you never know what you're getting until Tuesday. Like, they'll book a show and not tell you until Tuesday. AEW will tell you for a week out, maybe 2 weeks out, what you're going to get. And this week, they had a main event with Moxley and Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. They featured all the stars.
I will point out, my hate is not high. My hate was not that high for AEW this week.
Oh, wait, before we continue with the Raw, it should be noted that there was various news reports coming out on Monday of the chaos going on backstage in the production of this week's Raw and next week's Raw.
About the writing the script.
And then it led into Tuesday where they were taping SmackDown, where they would normally record 2 episodes in one day. But because there was so much chaos, they only recorded 1. So everyone's going to have to come back next Tuesday to do it again.
But, every week they report that Vince McMahon is rewriting a show and there's chaos. That's just Raw. That's just WWE product. That's just main roster Raw and SmackDown for me. Vince McMahon's been rewriting SummerSlam all week. No shit. Vince McMahon's been writing Raw all week. It's just who he is at this point. This is what we're expecting. It's one of the problems with the show. It's probably that Vince McMahon is indecisive on what's going to draw.
All right, going back to Raw, we had what I would say was probably one of the better segments of the week. That was Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre came down to the ring. He said they were both chosen by Vince, but wrestling was Drew's first plan, and it wasn't Randy's, and everything was handed to Randy their own, such as Evolution. He was punished for his mistakes, while Orton was rewarded for his. Orton then said, you know what, I had enough of your talk. He says he enjoys coming out and handing out RKOs and putting heads. He said he should have been fired, but he is more valuable than Drew. He is the chosen one, now, then, and forever. Love when they use the WWE catchphrase.
You got that wrong?
What?
You got it's then, now, and forever.
I know.
Now, then, and forever.
But I think it sounds better now, then, and forever. I don't like then.
No,
now.
it's not an order. Then.
I want to.
That's the past.
Let me say it the way I want to say it. I can say it the way I want to say it.
Forever, because that's forever.
Drew decides. He says, you know what? You want to shoot, Randy? You want to shoot? You represent everything that is wrong with the WWE. You don't do anything to help anyone. You can help a Mustafa Ali. You can help a Cedric Alexander. You can help a Richard O'Shea, but you don't. You don't do that, Randy. It was that one time. It was that one time, Randy, when I was at my lowest. I was missing home and my mama was ill. And you could have said something to me, but you chose not to, Randy. You chose not to. You could have saved me, Randy, but you didn't.
This is theater.
And I was like,
one man show. This is a one man show. This is theater.
At this point, though, Marcus, Randy could have saved Drew McIntyre, but Randy didn't save him. So I turn to you, Manny. Would you have saved Drew McIntyre when he was at his lowest if you were Randy Orton, or would you said fuck him?
Oh, I'm a nice guy, so I probably would have asked. I'm not an asshole. We may have our bants on it, but like, truth be told, we're not all assholes on this show, except Eric.
I'm okay with that, Marcus. Now I turn to you in this situation, Marcus.
Yes.
You know, Drew McIntyre's at his lowest point, and
yes,
he accuses Randy Orton of not helping anyone, and I disagree.
Okay.
He helped Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase.
Did he?
And Legacy. I don't think Cody would be half the man he was today if it wasn't for Randy Orton.
Preach.
So,
preach, my man. Preach.
And Marcus, even to this day, Mark, even to this day, Cody has even been quoted to say that Randy was a very influential portion of his career. Marcus, go ahead then.
Where's Ted? If he's so influential in helping people, where's the revival? All right, where's rated FTRKO? Huh?
Marcus,
where's that at?
Marcus, Levi said that Drew pretty much called Randy a racist because he named all the black people who he's not helping out. I'm just saying.
Damn, nigga. Randy would say. But let me tell you what. If I'm Randy Orton, and full kayfabe up right now, full kayfabe shield. I'm in the back. I'm wrestling every week. I'm the legend killer. I'm in my 30s. Drew McIntyre's in his early 20s. I look at this kid. He's over there air guitar with Heath Slater. And I go,
Three-man blade.
Damn, you could have been somebody. Am I talking to this fool when I'm worried about kicking John Cena's ass? No. Get on out of here. I seen him come. I seen him go. All right? I talked to the ones that gonna make it. He didn't look like he was gonna make it at the time, so I'm not talking to him. Full kayfabe. Fuck you. I'm Randy Orton, the real chosen one. From day one.
I killed Kofi Kingston's career.
Yeah. I shit bags. I failed drug tests. I am not the person to talk to. If you want to ask for somebody to talk to, at the time, who was the leader of the locker room? John Cena. Your boy, my arch rival. Why didn't he talk to you, huh? Why didn't he pull you out your hole? Where was the big dog in this? I know he wasn't around, but where's the big dog in this?
El Luchador says you can do good things and still be a terrible person. Just look at Ellen.
Okay, I have been seeing this all week. What has she done?
Apparently, she's a dictator. Like, yeah. she's very friendly, happy-go-lucky on camera. But in the back, she's a straight bitch. I don't know if it's true. I don't care if it's true. I've never watched an Ellen show in my life.
Again, every successful artist are most of the time dicks. And this is why you don't want to meet your heroes. Because they only, like, it's only a handful that are probably good. That are good people. That are nice to you. And throughout the entire career, but probably most of them are dicks.
In other words...
I'm never shocked when anybody come out and say, fuck that person.
Translation, don't meet the grand finale in person because he will just be a dick. That you will send to Brandy Rhodes later to say that you're upset because you're not part of AEW Heels. A couple of side notes that happened on Monday Night Raw, because I'm going to save Raw Underground for last because I think we need to have a full out discussion on this. Nia Jax beats up Pat Buck. Tozawa is the new 24/7 champion. We also have Shayna Baszler and Sasha Banks have a match that ended in the most bizarre way, and I will touch on this real quick. Have you guys ever witnessed a match that got called a disqualification when the outside participants started fighting each other? Marcus, no. I turn to you first.
Yes, on SmackDown this week when Mandy Rose was attacking Sonya Deville. They threw the match out. Nobody touched anybody but them. There shouldn't have been a DQ in that match.
But Marcus, the difference
they just didn't care.
Marcus.
They didn't care this week, and that's what disgusts me the most. People upset about Underground or what Retribution is doing. I'm more upset about WWE breaking rules and shit when they do stuff like this. Like that time Seth Rollins was disqualified for hitting Rey Mysterio when he wasn't tagged in. I hate when this happens. This is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Well, Marcus, on the SmackDown portion, Marcus, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they got inside the ring. Asuka and Bayley were self-contained on the outside of the ring. They were self-contained, and it was no reason to call this. I asked for this referee's job. Manny, will you join my petition in asking for this man to be fired?
Stop canceling people, Eric. It's pandemic times. It's pandemic times. If I caught you stealing from the break room, I wouldn't question you to be fired. It's pandemic times, Eric. There's no reason.
I've been stealing sugar for the break room for all these years.
If your employer found out that you were watching wrestling whilst on work time,
Manny, for your information, my managers and supervisors have walked in on me numerous times. I've been watching Netflix, wrestling, playing video games, and I just don't give a fuck. My work gets done. I don't have backlog. Marcus knows before I've always been known as Mr. I don't give a fuck. IDAGF.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. He don't. He has never, will never. It is a part of his legacy. Like on his grave, on his epitaph, it will say, this man didn't give a fuck from 1980 to, I guess, 2020 or whenever he dies. He did. In fact, he don't give a fuck when he died.
That's why when TNA was a thing, I related to that one guy that was Matt Hardy's friend who was living that
Shannon Moore, the
Dilligaff lifestyle. Do I look like I give a fuck? Because that's what I need to ask you the question. Moving on, Street Profits, Andrade and Garza.
But this fuckery need to stop though, right? Like this DQ stuff.
I mean, the thing is, you already knew when Sasha and Shayna was in this match that you weren't getting to finish, but at least give me a better out than that. Like it didn't make any sense. So
goddamn late.
Now my question for you, Marcus, are you more upset with the Asuka Bayley situation or what took place with the Street Profits where Garza defeated Dawkins, and then Montez apparently was poisoning his drink that he was drinking, and he got cleared by WWE officials, but then later on passed out in the match?
Well, if CM Punk is going to, I don't know if his lawsuit with WWE is still going on or they settle quietly.
I think they settled already.
But if you would like to go to Exhibit A, Your Honor, man poisoned and not feeling well, passes out at ringside. The doctor cleared him to get in the ring anyway.
No. So they say he was poisoned. They never said he was poisoned until they went backstage.
No, that's when Bianca showed up, the real MVP.
But I'm just saying, the failed doctor right here doesn't make sense for somebody to pass out at ringside, and the first response is, and when we are in a global pandemic, it should be, he may have got the COVID. Like, that would be our response. We need to get him the hell out of here. Or, Exhibit 2, man comes out in red Solo Cup, drinks every week. Probably today he's had one too many of whatever drink he's had. He's clearly intoxicated or inebriated of some kind. He's under the influence. That would be my second diagnosis. He cannot go into the ring. We're not going to have a Jeff Hardy Sting scenario.
So what disappointed me the most about this entire segment was when they got backstage and Dawkins walks out the medical room, and he's crestfallen. He doesn't know what to do in this situation. And then next thing you know, Bianca walks out, and that's just when Andrade, Zelina, and everybody shows up. And
they're already there. They're talking shit to Dawkins.
I did not like that they did not have Zelina see all the signs that Bianca was exhibiting that her ass was in danger. Because when Bianca started taking off the earrings, I said, Zelina, you need to run.
Well, the other thing you need to listen back on the playback, just as they're about to cut away from all this, as Dawkins is holding her back, you can hear Bianca say, "I will cut you."
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you this. As much as critical I am about the doctors letting Montez wrestle and all this stupid shit that surrounded it, I had so much fun with this segment.
No.
I think Montez being poisoned so perfect. And it was so cartoony and TV that when he hits the ground, you go, oh. And then you go, oh no, he hit again. And then the fact when you go to the back and Selena's denying what she done did, which we know she done did.
It's no evidence Zelina did that. No, Zelina might have paid somebody.
Are you going to play Retribution
Marcus,
or Antifa?
Let me ask a question for you, though. If Zelina was that close to get to Montez's cup to poison his drink, what was Montez and Zelina doing in the first place? Answer that question for me.
He just leaves it around at ringside.
That's on him, man. That's on him.
That's on him. The amount of times he walks through the crowd, everything he does is his fault.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he gave himself COVID or he poisoned himself. He had too much to drink. Whatever the scenario, it is Montez's fault. And Bianca deserved to be Selena. Selena recognized the signs, Eric. But Selena was ready for that smoke. She wanted that smoke. You act like Selena, as we know her, knew what was about to happen.
Well,
she was like, bring it on, bitch.
Zelina said that she really enjoys working with Bianca. And if you listen to the New Day podcast at what Manny's shirt is wearing, that is one of the great interviews where she talks about how they didn't know that they were going to do all those series of matches where it was the singles match, the tag match, the triple threat match. Amazing story. Another story.
When you actually go back to listen to that, you gotta get through about 15 minutes of Kofi and Zelina Vega arguing, which is even more funny.
Yeah, that's not even something that you need to get through.
How many games have you beat me, Zelina? How many games? He is the greatest.
Come on to my show and start showing me up.
So, Manny.
Again, I want Kofi Kingston to have a full heel run in WWE in his podcasting, or as I like to call it, in real Kofi mode.
So, Manny, you need to understand something why Marcus is so happy about this. You know how Kofi is when he plays video games? That's who Marcus is. And Marcus, we were playing Monopoly last week, and he wouldn't stop talking shit. He would not stop talking shit because Ryan made one of the worst deals in Monopoly history. I digress. So,
not bad. It worked for me.
We have the before we get to Raw Underground, one more segment which I really enjoyed. It was Seth Rollins, the Messiah, Dominic, Samoa Joe, and I'm gonna throw Buddy Murphy in there too because they were all involved. The Messiah came down to the ring, but the Messiah came out because he had some issues with somebody who was flapping their gums, talking ill about the Messiah, and he needed to address that person. That person was Tom Phillips. I will point out that of all the segments in wrestling this week, this was the segment that felt real because Samoa Joe wasn't going to let TP get hurt. He was like, not on my watch. I will fuck you both up right now, right here. What you going to do? I enjoyed it.
Can I pause you and tell you who a buster is?
Who?
Guess who shut the fuck up this entire segment?
Buddy Murphy?
He was even there. Byron Saxton. What a buster, man. Didn't say nothing. Just kept his mouth shut and looked the other way. Didn't even know he was there.
Well, Marcus, did you ever think Byron Saxton was going to fight?
No, but you would think he'd be there looking shocked. But he was in that, I'm going to look the other way like there's something going on over here.
But the greatest thing...
Oh, what's going on with that lighting, man? Somebody fix that light. They flipping over boxes over there.
But the greatest thing about this segment, this is not the first time Samoa Joe has had beef by being a commentating with the Messiah's crew. You remember when they had the announce table upstage? And
that was like Christmas.
It was like, and like the two AOP came up in there, and Joe was like, I'm about this life, man. What you gonna do? Marcus, I know you were excited over this spot because you thought Joe was about to get in the ring with Seth, but instead it was a clever ruse to let Dominic get in there and land the 619 on Seth.
See, Eric, you need to stop while you're ahead because what happened was Dominic came out. I thought Samoa Joe was going to help him out. No, Samoa Joe went back to the desk and got right back on commentary.
The complete talking shit. I was hyped. This segment, probably the most hyped I've been for any wrestling segment in a long time. Seeing Seth Rollins talk shit to Tom Phillips and Samoa Joe going like, "You think I'm gonna let you do that, huh? You think you're gonna do that shit to me?" And he pointing fingers in people's face. "I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up." Like it was Samoa Joe. It was the killer from the Nation of Violence. He was back in this segment. And then that they went to commercial break, and it kept me in my chair. Normally I either go to the restroom, I grab a snack, or I move. But I was like, I don't want to miss a segment of Samoa Joe whooping Seth Rollins' ass. And I wanted it. And you come back and he rolling up his sleeves some more. And I'm like, they still haven't gotten the ring. And then he gets in there. And then Dominic sneaks in. You see Samoa Joe running down the stairs. Get back on commentary. Like, get his ass, Dominic. And I'm like, God damn it, Joe. I really wanted that.
So, with that being said, now we need to talk about... Like, I had a lot of stuff that happened in Raw that I like, but we have to have the thing that everybody talks about. And I have the simple question for you, Manny and Marcus. Manny, I will ask you first. Did you like Raw Underground, or did you dislike Raw Underground?
I liked it, and I feel like people should give it a chance. But the problem I had with it was everything was too short. So, like, it was just like... I don't even know. You couldn't even class these as squash matches. They were worse than they were worse than squash matches. Some of the people that were going in, because like you had Shane breaking it up within 2 seconds.
Marcus, what about you? What's your stance with the Underground?
I'm going to say I like the Underground. And because it was so much unknown about it, I just thought it was presented really poorly. I think Shane McMahon just screaming and yelling, talk about, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And then you have the random dancing girls. And they didn't give a proper introduction of what the hell's going on here. It's just random people fighting, and you see Swerve Scott and I think Vanessa Board and like random people in the background look like they're gambling on it. Like it was no proper introduction to it. It threw us right into the middle of it. But I did like the potential that it could bring. Like when it looked like it can get a lot of people over because everybody looked impressive that stepped into that ring. Whether you were Dolph Ziggler, Daba. What is his name? Daba Kuta?
Just call him Baba Tunde.
Hey, Dolph Ziggler.
WWE renamed him.
I would say Dolph Ziggler and Eric from the Viking Raiders. They look like real fighters that were just like grimy, just get the money. Dio Madden was still getting his ass kicked.
But everybody that stepped on in that ring looked really impressive. Not the jobbers aside. The ones they wanted to showcase. Whether it was the Viking Raider, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby, Shelton, and even MVP had that moment of, these are some bad motherfuckers. Like, just standing there. It looked like you were the baddest motherfucker on the planet if you stood there. So I could just imagine just throwing, like, a Cesaro in there who I want to throw everywhere. Or, I know, Brock Lesnar. And even CM Punk, who is extremely highly critical in WWE no matter what they do, was like, he could see himself standing in that Underground because it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it came across as something different. They shot it with a nice aesthetic for me. It's probably something we hadn't seen, and if you're into the know, you know Shane has always been into MMA. But as Manny said earlier, they really need to iron out some stuff because, I don't know what was going on. Like, it was like 1 minute, all right, we're going to have who's going to step up? Who's going to step up? Next thing you know, dude is already getting beat up. It is like, well, if you had that much moxie to step up, I would think you would have a little bit more scraps inside of you. But with that being said, like you can see a Timothy Thatcher show up. You can see even what's his name, Titus O'Neil. I mean, it's so many people.
Karrion Kross.
I just think. But Marcus, now for you, how did you like the Hurt Business taking over the Underground?
I really want them to lead the day-to-day operations, even though they advertised Shane's coming back this week. I would like MVP to run the day-to-day operations of the thing. He seemed like the shady promoter that's underground going like, all right, who I need in this ring? Swerve Scott, get in here. You gonna take on Ivar. And y'all gonna fight until I say stop. Or someone dies. I don't know why the referee was in there because he couldn't stop shit. It was only Shane going like, get him out, he did, get him out, he did.
Marcus, Levi calls this the Raw Underground Railroad.
Why?
Because all the minorities, except for Eric.
There was Eric and Ziggler. It was a good mix. At first, when they first cut to a clip, I got very Calvin Candy vibes of Mandingo Brawls in Django Unchained, because it was just two black guys fighting to the death, and Shane like, yeah, 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 and I was like, oh, this is getting bad, and there was dances, and I was like, this looks complete racist. But as it progressed through the night, and Babatunde, and it was a good mix.
Babatunde.
Whatever his name is for right now. I think they need to just
that was Eric levels of butchering a name.
No, they changed his name to Daba something. And I'm not going to call him Babatunde if they're going to change his name.
You're still saying his name wrong.
Like, for me, I thought the dancers were by far the worst dancers I've ever seen, but I really wanted them to take this to a whole nother level of like an underground fight scene where there's tables, and I need Legado del Fantasma to show up. I'm sorry. That man was wearing that gold-ass jacket, and that's a man with power that would come in there with wads full of money, dropping money on people, talking about, I'll put money on such because of whoop swerve Scott ass. Like, I can see a brawl breaking out. You know, you take off your fine jacket, you fight somebody, Legado better show up next week on Monday. See,
Eric, I brought this up with Marcus. I'd be willing to fight Orange Cassidy again if he ruined that gold jacket. But the fact that he ruined that crappy white jacket, I'm not into it.
No.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a perfect segue for us to jump into AEW Dynamite. Spoiler, I didn't hate the show, y'all. I did not hate the show. Surprisingly.
Here we go. We're going to rant.
No.
I'm ready to go an hour.
I have no rants,
I'm ready to go, man. I've been working on my cardio, right? I'm ready to go. Let's do this hour.
So, just like they did the time when Cody defended his title against the man, Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, they started with in-ring action starting right away. It was time for our multiple man tag. It was the Young Bucks.
12-man.
Yes, Marcus, the 12-man. You know I hate a 12-man tag. FTR, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page against the Dark Order. For what this match was, it was convoluted. Why did everyone have to go to the back when Dax Willer, whatever, hurt his knee? I do not know.
Wait, it was only Cash and Paige that went backstage. That was it.
Exactly. I'm just saying Paige had no business to be back there. I know they done bought him drinks, but your partner is still in the ring. And then you have to throw into the fact that they still saying that Colt Cabana is an associate of the Dark Order. That man is full-fledged Dark Order right now. We just need to let this happen. I mean, for what it's worth, it was action-packed. It was an AEW style match. I mean, I have no complaints about it. It happened. Manny, I turn to you. Do you have any complaints?
Yep. When FTR signed their contract, they said specifically in all tag matches they're in, and this was a tag match, that the 10 count rule will apply. At some point, Kenny Omega and Adam Page were in the ring for an entire minute. An entire minute they had both tagged out. Bullshit. Other than that, I don't have a problem with anything else.
I just don't think you should ever do a 12-man tag. I just don't. I've complained about multiple man tag multiple times when WWE did the 20-man tag. It's just too much action in the ring, and it just made me sick with how much. But Marcus, what about yourself?
Okay, as I stated on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m., I am no longer going to complain about the rules of AEW. I feel like I have lost this war. They know their problems. They have chosen not to change anything. I have accepted it. I've grown up. I've grown past it. However, I am not sick of fucking tag. I am so sick of fucking tag matches on this show. It is a million goddamn tag matches. And I mean to curse this much because these motherfuckers are throwing out tag match after tag match, 12-man, 10-man, 6-man, 8-man, and they're all the same. It's all the same dives. It's the same moves over and over. It's the same people in the same match over and over. There's nothing unique about any of them. They didn't even have the 12-man. They added one random Dark Order guy who I don't even think had a name. He was just in there. And I just didn't need this. I don't need this many tag matches. Just give me a singles match. Just give me a singles match. For the love of God. Next week is Tag Team Appreciation Week. For the love of God, this match was the same week. They just had a bunch of tag matches. Mix their shit up. I am so sick of seeing high spot tag match.
At this point,
it's bullshit, and I don't need to see another super kick anymore. I'm done with that.
At this
I don't need to see another cutter anymore. I'm done with that. It's the same.
Can you be done with your point so I can make a point?
I don't need it. Fuck them. Fuck them in their tag team matches. Fuck tag team wrestling, and that's what I'm saying with that.
I read a post on What Culture Wrestling last night about them ranking every tag team in AEW from worst to best. They listed 20 tag teams, and I was just like, that's way too many. That is way too many for a show that's only on once a week. And then put on more tag team matches on AEW Dark, which is insane.
I'm gonna let you guys know. You guys have already had your show. My turn to speak. And I'm doing something that I never thought I would ever do in this situation.
Fuck tag team wrestling.
I am going to protect AEW in this situation because they did all of these tag matches because it led up into the main event, which was a singles match. NXT did the exact same thing, but oppositely. They did a bunch of single matches that led to a tag team match. So it is a basic formula for booking shows that you have all these tag matches to make the main event seems more important because it's a single match. I'm just saying, Marcus, I'm glad you're not going to argue about the rules anymore, but you need to accept that AEW is hanging their hat on the title. This is where tag team wrestling lives.
But it's one thing to have 20 tag teams and to display 20 tag matches a week on your product. But it's at least 5 tag teams actually worth a damn in their company. And that's probably the Bucks, Pride and Powerful, which they don't use. I mean, they use them this week, but they don't ever win. The Butcher and the Blade, who are jobbers. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess it's Wrestling Express, but I don't care about them either. There's so many tag teams I just don't care about. They're jobbers. Just a bunch of jobbers. This is nothing different than when 205 Live showed up on Raw and they just threw 5 different cruiserweights in a match.
But Marcus, I can easily say that I'm tired of seeing Rhea Ripley fight Dakota Kai. I'm tired of seeing
that hasn't happened.
It happened.
That was first time ever.
And I'm tired of seeing Cameron Grimes going against Keith Lee. I'm just saying the main event
happened once.
But they had nothing but singles matches. It's just one of those things for
me, each single match on NXT had a purpose, and it was a reason why they were fighting each other. Except for Tegan Nox and Indy Hartwell. Had no reason to be on the show. But each single match or match they had a purpose. Now, NXT, if I were going to argue about something, it's the triple threat matches.
Why are you making me be this person? Why are you making me be this person this week, Marcus? Because I'm talking to you. The first match had a purpose. Last week, if you paid attention to AEW Dynamite, the Dark Order got involved with FTR, the Young Bucks and everybody. This was the fallout from that thing that happened the week prior at Dynamite. This is why we got this 12-man tag.
Just because you got it last week don't mean it needs to happen this week. I got it 2 weeks ago. I got it back in the beginning. Remember when the Dark Order did their Retribution? And they came in throwing phantom punches at Goldust and shit? We got this already.
So, as we knew something else we were going to get when they showed the best friends.
October with them.
We saw the best friends showed up in Trent's mom's minivans, but Chucky T was driving that minivan. So we knew something bad was happening. I know, John, this is very disturbing me defending AEW. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
What a loser. You showing up in your mom's bed.
Well, Chris is also pointing out I'm tired of this match. It happened once.
I know. It's one match. on these NXT shows.
So on top of that, AEW is trying to do a lot of things to try to keep some continuity going. Taz complained about Ricky Starks and Brian Cage being banned from the event tonight because they would just get involved into the main event, which I thought was nice. Then we went, and I have been very critical of Jon Moxley and his promos, but this was one time I really enjoyed his promo. I just was kind of upset that he did not address MJF. But after having a conversation with Marcus, I did understand why he didn't address MJF. But I thought he did a very good job of building Darby Allin up to be a big player in the future of AEW. Mandy, since Marcus doesn't remember, I'll turn to you first. Did you like Moxley's promo?
As I said on Thursday on the Untitled Mania Marcus show, I only... See, Jon Moxley does all right promos, but you kind of get distracted with everything he does other than talking. So when Jon Moxley normally does a promo in the ring or he's doing it where he's standing up, he's always moving about. Like he's always twitching, always doing something rather than focusing on what he's supposed to be doing and that's delivering the promo. The fact that he was sitting down and delivering the promo where he couldn't really move that much made me pay more attention to what he was saying, and then it was a really good promo how he sold he likes Darby Allin and the fact that he doesn't want to have to do this.
Marcus, do you have anything to add to that?
No, other than that, I agree with you guys 100%. It was a well done promo by Moxley. Probably one of the best promos of the week if it wasn't for Drew Orton in that scenario. And Big E.
Like, once again, what I really liked about the promo was the fact that he compared Darby Allin to himself. He saw Darby Allin in him, and he knew that Darby Allin wouldn't quit. But he's telling Darby Allin, just quit. When it's over, and just walk and give up. And I thought that was a great way to plant the seeds for their match that happened later on that night. As for a match, another tag match that Marcus really disliked, it was Santana and Ortiz against the Best Friends.
Wait a minute.
You don't like tag matches, Marcus, so I'm just letting you know.
It doesn't mean that this tag match wasn't good or okay.
The match was fine. The thing is that everyone knows I can't stand the Best Friends, and I'm tired of AEW disrespecting Santana and Ortiz.
I thought you were going to say disrespecting Sue.
No, fuck Sue, man. So first of all, I think Chucky T is sleeping with Sue, because why else was he driving that van? That's neither here nor there. But the fact that...
Yeah, so you trying to say Chucky T is Trent's stepdad, and he's raising him, and that's why he's bringing him up?
Why else would Trent T was such a loser? That's all I have to say in that situation. So Santana and Ortiz, they fought. They lost again. It seems like unless Jericho is standing with you, the Inner Circle doesn't win any type of matches. Afterwards, they decide... Which,
sorry to prolong the AEW segment, but which is what me and Marcus were discussing on the Thursday show, was basically, it was fantasy booking, but because now that they got Eddie Kingston, they should realistically be moving towards the actual Matt Hardy gimmick of telling Sammy to move away from Jericho. He should be saying move away from Jericho because all you seem to be doing is losing, and be the mouthpiece for them.
I don't need Matt Hardy to be anybody's more mouthpiece. I just need Matt Hardy.
No, we're not talking about. He wasn't talking about Matt Hardy. He's talking about.
It's the series that Matt Hardy's going to Sammy Guevara. You need to get away from Jericho.
Oh, okay.
So realistically, we want Eddie Kingston to come in, be the mouthpiece for these guys, and say you need to get away from Jericho.
Yes.
Back. This is their first big sighting, and they've done nothing with these guys other than comedy acts for Jericho.
No. I like what they've done with them because they've given them some character and everything. But now it's a chance to move on from them because they've built a reasonable character now. Now let's move on and let's see them do other things.
No, I mean, the distraction of Sue Minnie's van, this is the first time that all the announcers have been trying to promote that they are thugs and they're hoodlums and they're rabble-rousers. This is the first time they did some destructive shit. I really enjoyed that. And so I'm glad they got their heat back. I just wish they could have beat the Best Friends and still destroyed the truck. Marcus?
I wanted this to be last week. I wish they destroyed the truck either the previous week or earlier in the show before we led into the match. Because I enjoyed the match, but I feel like there was just something missing in it. I felt like the match was just happening just to fill time. And then it was leading into the truck destruction or the SUV destruction. And I would have wished that it had that edge to it. Because it looked like they were just wrestling. Everybody was just going through the motions, and they knew what was going to happen, just all leading to the SUV attack.
Then we got the MJF promotional package. I was like, this is how we're going to follow it. This is how we're going to follow up MJF with his great speech with this little package right here. The package was fine. He was picking on his staff member who didn't hang the sign up level and stuff of that nature. But I was like, I hope I get more MJF because I watched AEW first this week because I was looking for MJF. Would you guys both agree that the video package was fine?
It was a waste of time.
Oh. Yeah, it was I felt like the promo last week was good. Like the best MJF we've seen. And then it turned into that, which isn't a good lead up. And I didn't really enjoy it. No.
Here's my issue with AEW. They're really leading hard into this election shit that's going on in America. For me, it seems like we aren't doing debates right now in America, or we aren't doing voting or shit like that right now. And, I mean, we are going to vote in November and stuff like that, but it's not the focal point. It's more, we're in a pandemic. Donald Trump is a psychopath. Joe Biden doesn't have all his sense. And where did they blow? Everything blew up in Beirut. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and we're not focused on debate. They seem like they had this book from months ago. Like, in August, man, we're going full on with this election and all that. And I don't feel like that's hitting for me on every segment like they're trying to promote, like the debate and him going MJF 2020.
I disagree with you on that situation, Marcus. I think it's one of those things where you don't want to politicize your show too much by taking a side of this, but it is relevant because elections are coming up. And so anytime elections come up in any type of wrestling, they always do some type of election gimmick. And it does fit into the narrative that MJF wants to change the narrative of AEW because Dictator John has ruined AEW to the ground when in actuality...
But they're doing two.
Huh?
But they're doing two. They did the debate and MJF thing, and I feel like that's too much. Like, one is okay, but it just seems like they're doing two or three. It's like, doesn't seem to be that necessary.
I have mixed feelings about the debate, but we're not there yet. We're now at Matt Hardy, where arguably, I thought Matt Hardy cut himself open, but after reading reports, apparently he was cut open the hard way because Sammy Guevara grabbed a chair that he shouldn't have grabbed. And I remember when I saw the chair, I was like, we don't normally use these chairs. Then it was reports that Sammy gets caught up in the hot lights and he doesn't know how to react spontaneously, and that's why he messed up. Manny, I didn't particularly care for this Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara savior storyline. What about yourself?
I didn't enjoy it too much. And then the backlash of it is insane. Can I just point out, I don't need Matt Hardy's wife to comment on everything. She needs to stop. Like, she really needs to stop. Like, if anyone agrees with me, just send her the video of the time he was holding the ladder and his brother jumped off it and then fucked up Joey Mercury's face. Just show her that all the time. Accidents happen.
It does.
It's wrestling. Accidents happen. When you've got so many moving parts going about, things will go, not all the time, but things do go wrong sometimes.
Marcus, what about you? Matt Hardy being the redeemer of now he wants to redeem the Private Party and now he wants to redeem Sammy Guevara.
I don't care about whatever he's doing with Private Party. I mean, it shows how well he's doing for them. They haven't been on TV or had a tag match on TV in forever. Last time we saw them, Mark Quinn was getting a TV title shot, I think. Or maybe they had a tag team title match, but I don't know. My whole thing is, I just don't care about this feud of Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. And the accident with the chair, they could have been avoided. One, you didn't need to do that spot. The big spot was him jumping through the table on him. You could have easily just hit him normal with a chair. It didn't have to actually be thrown at him. And two, he grabbed the wrong chair and threw it and panicked. Why was there a right chair and a wrong chair next to each other? That can happen to anybody. Why even put that option? Like, oh shit, I don't know where's the chair. Just have two chairs there so it's easy for him to grab the gimmick chair. To me, it didn't make sense that was even an option.
given the way he threw the chair, either way, it was gonna fucking hurt.
I mean, and for me, I just want to.
Like, it was unnecessary.
And I just want to point out, Rebecca Hardy. You're talking about Sammy Guevara. This is what Matt wanted.
Rebecca.
Yeah, I'm calling her by her government name. This is what Matt wanted.
You don't even know that's her government name.
That's what he called her on his post when he was talking about his anniversary. My whole thing is that Matt Hardy was frustrated in WWE because he felt he didn't have any creative freedom. He left to go to AEW because he could get creative freedom. This is what comes with freedom. You're working with inexperienced people who don't know how to react when things are going awry. I mean, he got busted open. It happens in wrestling. He went through a table. At the end of the day, is it about having the show go forward with the storyline that you're trying to portray or trying to protect him, whatever? Because as Levi said, that accident came across great on television. It made Sammy look like, oh, fuck. I was like, what is he doing? I was like, wow. This is very extreme. Oh, he's going to jump on him with the table? Okay. Wow. I don't want it, but it made sense. Now, my favorite moment of the night had to be the tag match of the Dark Order members John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who are trying to prove themselves, going against Matt Cardona and Cody Rhodes. The only reason why I enjoyed this match is the fact that you see Zack Ryder, which I'm going to call him, who has been in WWE for a long, long time, and he knows how tag matches work. He's in the corner, looks like he's holding on to an imaginary tag rope, trying to reach out to have Cody tag him in, and there was no reason for him to do that. And that's all I got a kick out of. Marcus, Matt in his first debut of his match, what did you feel about this match?
I just thought it was the wrong approach for a debut.
He's always ready. Okay.
I don't know. That's what I was looking at. No, I just thought it was the wrong approach for a debut. That he had this tag match. Like, I feel like these guys have been betrayed as jobbers, and they are jobbers, but they were pushing Cody and Matt to the limit. But I mean, Matt Cardona,
mostly Cody.
And I think there's a time when you need to just have somebody just like dominant over some people. And I wanted this to be more of a showcase for for Cardona to say, this isn't the Zack Ryder you used to know, but it was the Zack Ryder that I used to know. It's the same guy. Nothing was different. There was no special. He didn't seem dominant. He just came in, did the same spots I've seen him do, and there was no promo. We haven't heard from him. I would like to hear a promo from him to say Matt Cardona is a real thing and this isn't just Zack Ryder and that he's just the guy playing with toys on his YouTube channel. I want them to establish people when they sign up. And this is the problem with just bringing people in, is that they just do the same shit they did in WWE, and it seems like Matt Cardona is on his way to AEW Dark right after this match.
Manny, what about you? You have anything to add that on?
So I had a problem with the fact that Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona got pyro. He doesn't deserve pyro. As I said on Thursday, that man should never, ever have pyro.
Hey, once Marco Stunt got pyro, hey, the wheels are up. Everybody should get pyro. I have to get pyro. If Marco Stunt's pyro and I'm in that locker room and I'm Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder, the hottest free agent on the market at the time of signing, I deserve to have pyro.
And then Zack Ryder looks exactly like every Create a Pro wrestler you make on WWE 2K with a basic moveset. His moveset could easily be transferred over to a WWE women's wrestler or Cameron.
I mean,
and with that being said, though, he did have the highest selling T-shirt in AEW right now, which he may be the reason their ratings drew.
Wait,
maybe people wanted to see Zack Ryder.
Is he outselling Orange?
He's outselling everybody right now. He had the highest sales.
Oh, man, okay.
Which probably explains why there was an extra 150,000 on top of AEW's normal views.
So at this point, after the match, Cody crosses paths with Scorpio Sky, who has not been featured on Dynamite in almost 2 months, and come to find out
he features on AEW Dark.
Well, come to find out, all his dark matches on AEW Dark has led to a title at the TNT Championship, and you ask the question: is Scorpio Sky the one that can dethrone Cody Rhodes for this title? Marcus, I turn to you first.
It would be nice, but they haven't built it up that way. And one of my main complaints with AEW is that the only people I hear talk is the same 5 people that talk. Mox, Cody, Jericho, I guess Orange Cassidy now? But who knows? Taz, and maybe Jake the Snake. But it's only like 5 people. The mid-card is not allowed to talk at all. Like, I haven't heard from Sean Spears. I haven't heard from Joey Janela. I haven't heard from Kip Sabian. You don't hear from these guys. And I think instead of a simple knock on the title or whatever they advertise it, I would like to hear Scorpio say, this is my time. I want to do, I want to be the TV champion. The last person, you get Ricky Starks last week, but you ain't going to hear him talk for another 5 weeks. They re-signed Eddie Kingston, and I thought he would be featured on the show, and he get to talk his shit again, because that's what he does the best. But nope. I would like some more promos on AEW to get me to care about a lot of these people. Otherwise, they're just fodder for the WWE guys.
Again, the only way you're going to get that is by watching Being the Elite, and that's the worst thing about it. Like, you have to spare an additional half an hour on a Monday to, get some character building on a separate show, which is ridiculous. You should be doing that on all your actual AEW shows, not just your side hustle.
And that's what.
And I'm not. Oh, okay. And I don't want to. I'm sorry to jump in again, and I don't want to say WWE is doing that, because they're not doing that. They're not doing that as well. You may get a package every now and then, but most of the time, most people don't get mic time. And I would like to interrupt you, Eric, again to say the team that's going to knock out the Lakers just got their ass beat by my Los Angeles Clippers.
Thank you, baby. That's all I got to say. Thank you. Keep beating the Portland Trail Blazers, Marcus. That's a win for us. I don't want to play them in the first round. That's all I got to say. Now, a segment that I didn't think I would like, but I actually liked because I thought it moved the narrative a lot better. And that was the debate between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. The fact that they brought out Eric Bischoff was kind of like a little extra seasoning, because it's a big deal. He hadn't been on a Turner Network in I don't know how long, and it's a historic moment for wrestling. Hopefully, it's just a one-off. We don't see him again. That's all I have to say.
I'm back.
What I liked about this segment was that this was a segment that was important, because this is the first time we've heard Orange Cassidy speak. And at that point, I felt that him speaking spoke volumes, and this was a great coming out party for Orange Cassidy. He pretty much said that, Jericho, you booked this debate to make me look stupid. You're not going to make me look stupid. And then he continued to talk, and I was like, okay. He proceeded to get his ass beat, but still, I like this segment. Manny, I turn to you. Did you like this segment, or could they did a little something different?
I didn't like it at all. I'm getting a bit tired of Chris Jericho, and I need him to take one of his breaks again. I think I can only take him in small doses.
He can't take a break because there ain't no Fozzy tour happening, because he's stuck. He's stuck in this world.
I know, but he should take a step away and do, I don't know, work with people in the back or something, because he's his start as funny, and how quickly he can turn words and phrases into shirts and stuff like that and get things trending. He needs to be doing that for the other guy. He needs to help other guys do that. And I feel he's working with Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy was over before Chris Jericho.
So you're saying that you prefer for him to be like an agent to help show people how to be a Chris Jericho, how to work?
Well, yeah, because his character, for me, is starting to get a bit stale. I don't know about anyone else, but it's starting to get a bit stale.
I guess we're going to
stop
stop
there. Your turn, Marcus. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to say something.
No, I had nothing to say.
I'm not going to interrupt anybody this time for a
You've been interrupting the whole show. Don't change who you are right now, baby.
Man, fuck you. I'm going to keep interrupting people, all right? You don't tell me what to do.
I just told you to interrupt people.
Pardon my interruption, all right? Pardon my interruption. This way I agree with Manny about Chris Jericho is becoming stale. He's becoming over cartoony in a way, because in the beginning of his character he was that heel. He was a little bit diabolical, but there was some cartoon side, so it was entertaining. But now I think he's full blown cartoon. I enjoyed the segment, like Eric, And I thought this was the most WWE segment they have ever had AEW.
Which explains why I enjoyed it.
Because I can see Vince McMahon booking the exact same thing with, I don't know. I try to think of a non-talker. Asuka and Sasha in a debate or something, in which Asuka doesn't speak English, and she just stands there like, "What? I don't understand the question," or something like that. Like I can see it, and then they ask what question. Like I saw what was going to happen, but what I really enjoyed was Orange's promo at the end when he was telling just Jericho, "I'm going to beat you, and if you lose to me, you become a bigger joke." And I was like, "Oh, there we go." And then Hager beat his ass, and I was like, I enjoyed that segment. I just still want to point out that wrestling fans are, again, the most hypocritical, bitchy, whiniest people on the planet, and that's what I experienced this week, and like a lot of them make me sense, because you can bitch about whether a McMahon shows up on the show, or Shane McMahon shows up on Raw, unannounced of what he's going to do, but when Bischoff shows up, it's the greatest thing ever. It's just back and forth of this. It's the same show. It's the same shit. You just bitch about it different because you want the other side not to do it and the other side to do it. It's the same shit. Whether Matt Hardy's on the show, I want to feature young talent. Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara, it's the same thing as Jeff Hardy versus Baron Corbin.
But let me ask this question, Marcus, though. If, let's say, AEW decide to go that route and feature the young talent and take off the Jerichos, off the Cody Rhodes, off the Young Bucks, and let's say have a show featured with Big Swole, the Private Party, Scorpio Sky, do they win the Do they win the ratings still?
No, not without their guys. No, I'm not saying you take these guys off. I'm just saying the wrestling fans bitch and moan about getting other younger talent or featuring people from the 90s and shit, and they just bitch and bitch. I just think the wrestling fans, or mostly the WWE fans, in their toxic community and their relationship with the fans, all they do is just find new ways to bitch about shit. And then when other promotions do the exact same thing, whether it's Impact digging up Tommy Dreamer or Rhino or whoever, it's the same shit. It's for every promotion. And I'm just so sick of hearing about people bitching about stuff like this.
Like I said, if Bischoff
just enjoy it or hate it.
If Bischoff doesn't come back, I'm okay. Great. If he doesn't come back, I'm great. Big Swole defeated Reba, so I think that means she gets a shot at Britt Baker. Not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly.
No, I don't know if there was a stipulation.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything like that. It was just you fight Reba.
Yeah.
And then we get to the main event. The main event I thought was executed perfectly. I thought that all the seeds were planted to make this match make sense. It was Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. The first thing that you notice, it was a big difference in size between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. But the thing about Darby, anytime he tried to attack Jon, he put every ounce of his body into his attacks. Like when he was doing his suicide dives, they looked like suicide dives to me. What I did enjoy about the match is how they set up the story that Darby wouldn't give up. And then on top of that, you have MJF actually being in the arena when Wardlow came out to distract the referee, and then the hit with the title, but that was not enough to let Darby get the win. Because it's clear, although MJF is talking a great game, he don't want to face Jon Moxley. I love that little bit of storytelling. And Marcus, what was your take on the main event?
Well, as much as I enjoyed MJF coming in there trying to get the match between him and Darby, which is the obvious thing to do, it's like, I don't want to fight Moxley, and he's been talking the game. I just thought the match previously sabotaged this match this week, that they are having this title match, but MJF is constantly cutting promos about Jon Moxley, which kind of takes you out of it, like, oh, he's going to fight. Like, I just don't feel like there was a reason to book this match this week. And it's like the third time I think we've had Darby Allin fighting for some random title and him writing champ all over himself and getting his ass beat and everybody telling him he's going to get his ass beat. I just feel like we've been here too much already. And it's only, I think it's the third or second time. Like, I think he fought Jericho. He had that Cody match. Like, I understand that they're trying to build him up as being the next star, but let's give the guy some wins on Dynamite first.
So you're tired you're tired of him being the underdog that never accomplishes what he set out to do.
Yeah, I would like to see him win every now and then. Like on Dynamite, he never wins. Like, why is he getting a title shot? Why is he ranked number 5? I'm assuming it's happening on Dark, or he's fighting on the underground or something. But I've only ever seen this guy get his ass kicked on Dynamite for the past several months. I've seen him get knocked out on TV by Ricky Stark.
But I
don't need that.
As I told you, Marcus, if you're ranked number 5 in AEW, you get title shots. That's how it works, baby. It's how it works, man.
So you gotta let yourself fall in the rating.
You gotta let because
it's number 5 to get
when you're number 1, you don't get that title shot. Manny, what about you? The main event.
Number 1 contender. Man, Sheeta was number 1 contender for like 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Couldn't get a title shot. And like Statlander was just like, I'm the number 1 contender.
Yeah. Manny, what about you? The main event. How did that go for you?
See, other than the weird spot that happened, which I didn't understand what was happening, and then as Marcus said, you got to kind of just give up on trying to focus on their rules. So like when he threw Darby Allin off that stage, and they go to commercial break, it's like Darby Allin's now his face of the ring post, and as John Moxley's coming back to the ring, he's gone back in the ring, but now he's climbed onto the turnbuckle and asking the ref, "Is he still alive?" The referee's now administering a 10 count, which I don't understand why. Because then Moxley goes back, is now standing on the outside of the ring, gone back in the ring again before he goes to retrieve him, and the referee's still counting. So it doesn't actually make sense because he breaks the count. Unless he's doing a last man standing spot, who knows? But other than that, the match was pretty solid.
And for me, I was all in on the match at the beginning because it brought me back to one of my favorite scenes from, I think, is either 48 Hours or another 48 Hours, is when Eddie Murphy's in the room and then Bear walks in with a knife and Eddie Murphy brings out a gun. And you might say, how does that relate to this? Because you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. So at the very beginning of the match, if you recall, Darby Allin slaps Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley look at him like, what? And then next thing you know, Jon Moxley cold clocks the little son of a bitch like Shayna Baszler did. Sasha was like, little man, don't you come in here slapping. We fighting. And he punched him out. And I enjoyed that. I know I have weird quirks when it comes to things that I enjoy in wrestling. That was one of them. And surprisingly, AEW didn't piss me off this week. I had a very... What, Marcus? What'd you say?
Because I like cutting you off just because...
What you say now, Chuck? What you say?
I had nothing.
What Chuck? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Chuck. What you say? I can't hear you.
Son of a bitch. But the hypocrisy of wrestling fans.
Well, that's not even a word.
The hypocrite. The
hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy. The hippotonomy of wrestling fans. It's really bugging me this week. Everything that's going on. Like, we're going to talk about the Retribution guys.
Yes, we will.
Being like 2 feet tall and everything. But Darby Allin is not bigger than any of those guys that were doing that. And they were like, oh, those guys are bad. And I'm like, Darby Allin and these guys are not the same. He's about that size of those guys. So don't tell me you believe Darby Allin if you don't believe these Retribution little guys. Or the Undisputed Era. I'm just so sick of all of it. I'm so sick of all this random complaining about this and that.
I thought Mox was worth his money this week on AEW. Now moving to NXT, I thought NXT started off hot. Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai. And I thought for sure WWE was going to do this to me and rob Dakota Kai of her rightful title shot against the Io Shirai. But,
the Io Shirai.
But
Io Shirai. That went to her head quick.
Although Rhea Ripley was dressed as Android 18 even more with her outfit, she's going more and more to that side. She could not overcome the cunning and finesse of Dakota Kai. Shout out to Dakota Kai for this win. I was very happy that Dakota Kai got the win. Mercedes Martinez really segued into a nice storyline right then and there because you know what? If Rhea would have joined with the Robert Stone brand, this would have never happened. Manny, what did you think of Rhea Ripley and Dakota Kai?
It was a really enjoyable match, and then it led on to further stories, which I'm kind of enjoying because, like, the Robert Stone brand should be a multi-person brand. And that's what it's leading to. And I'm enjoying it.
Marcus, what about you? Mercedes Martinez versus Rhea Ripley. Doesn't that match just make you say, you know what? This is going to be a good match right here?
It does. It makes me find out who is the baddest, and I'm going to say B word, in the yard. And they're going to fight it out at TakeOver, and it looks like it's going to be a good match. It's going to be probably very physical, and I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a misdirect, though, because I believe Manny's Big Mama Cool was supposed to do this. I don't know what happened to Big Mama Cool. I hope she's okay. Or if she's a part of Retribution, who knows?
Nah, because the two women in that look too small to be Big Mama
Hey,
Cool.
Manny.
According to reports, the Retribution card is subject to change.
Yeah, I don't think
they're just random standings.
Yeah, I don't think
they grab the most random people and like you're Retribution this week.
I mean,
because one of them looked like Vanessa Bourne.
Yeah, because you could easily say it could end up being Rusev and Lana right there. You'd be like, oh, I didn't know. Like Rusev.
Hold on, let's not go that route though. We'll talk about that later.
Rusev, Lana, Natty, because they all need Retribution. Tyson Kidd, possibly. I know last week on the show, you guys were talking about where was Shane. I think Maddie was talking about where have the Shane Thorne and Brandon Veek. We don't know.
I got to finish my point on this match.
I thought you finished your point.
Not really. You start talking about Retribution.
Marcus, hey, you start talking about Big Mama Cool.
Maybe she's in Retribution, and you guys jump in and do talk.
Baby, I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead.
I thought it was a good match.
Was that it?
That was it.
Was that it?
That's it.
So,
that's it.
Manny.
No, I have more. It was I thought it was a good match, and I think this is a good side quest for Rhea Ripley to not go after EO in the title, being involved with the Robert Stone brand. And I think the promos and the back and forth between this will be good. I think it's going to be good TV.
And that's all we asked for. Speaking of more good TV, Bronson Reed fought Shane Thorne. I guess Brandon Veek and Shane Thorne are no longer an item. Bronson Reed got a well-deserved win, and I think this is one of those things that NXT does a very good job, is that they take people who you haven't seen on TV, and yes, it was 2 weeks ago Reed got the biggest win of his career, but now he's getting another win when we haven't seen Scorpio Sky on TV in months, but now he's getting a title shot. I really enjoyed that. Marcus, Bronson Reed, the thick boy, doing it for the thick boys out there. Were you happy to see him get the win?
I was expecting. I don't know. Like, I don't think I was happy and overjoyed, but it was expected. It's Shane Thorne, who I believe they just need to find something to do with him. I feel like he has talent. He has a good look. It's just that he just has nothing to do. They have no idea. Creator has nothing for him. Put him in Retribution.
Manny, Marcus want to put everybody in Retribution, which is something that all wrestling fans do. What about you? Bronson Reed getting this win. Looks like he has his light is shining bright right now.
Yeah, his light's shining bright, and they're creating a new star in Bronson Reed, which is great. And he's going against Damian Priest next week.
And they had my favorite moment because I guess we should just jump into their note because we had Del Fantasma.
Let's just jump into it. You don't have to do it in order. When did we ever do a show in order? Let's put all Bronson Reed segments in one spot.
All right, so Damian Priest actually fulfilled his legacy, and he defeated Oni Lorcan and Ridge Holland. Manny, you're right. Ridge Holland, I can make money with that dude. It was something about him.
Do you know what? So the reports came out before Wednesday that people are looking at Ridge Holland as the next big thing. But if you look at the mannerisms of Ridge Holland, they're building him. I don't know if it was him doing it or they told him to do it, but he's exhibiting mannerisms of Brock Lesnar of 2002 with the facial expressions and everything.
Hey, I was sold with the dude. I wish he would put knee pads on, but like he just reminds me of that dude that would beat you up if I ever visit the London streets in the middle of the night with his little Billy. I mean, I got a kick out of him having a little Billy. I don't know why. But I was
like the jacket.
The jacket was cool. I like the cat.
So have you ever watched Peaky Blinders? His look is very Peaky Blinders.
Never seen Peaky Blinders. Don't even know what that means.
But
I thought Damian Priest fulfilling his legacy of saying that he was going to win, that the favorite wasn't going to make a mistake, and then him run into Bronson Reed in the parking lot. And he said, Bronson, you ain't going to get no fluke win on me because I'm a favorite.
You got to add more bass in your voice.
I can't.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, Bronson, You're not gonna get no Rito.
Bronson.
You got to talk like Shaq.
And Bronson was like, I ain't no bitch, man. It was no fluke. And I'll show you next week it wasn't no fluke. And I was like, that is how matches are booked without anybody. Like, Regal don't have to put no fine stamp on this. They can just fight.
So Regal doesn't care unless it's a championship match.
Exactly. Because
you can do whatever you want unless it's a championship match.
Well,
book that shit right now.
It's exactly.
Unless you fight Keith Lee for the belt, Karrion Kross, I ain't gonna give you that title shot. I don't care how much you asking.
Well,
how much Keith Lee accepted. Even though I don't have a main event for my pay-per-view.
The greatest,
I'm not giving you that match.
The greatest thing about it, though, is the fact that that is true. If you're the champion in NXT, Regal gives you a lot of leeway in what you're doing. I mean, for example, Santos Escobar is going around kidnapping people and throwing them in the back of vans and shit. And no one's saying anything about it. Nobody.
Can I talk about the triple threat match?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh,
I thought you were going to go, it's a really good match, and then end the conversation.
It's a really good match. Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I was like, nah. Back to Ridge Holland and his impressive NXT debut and his Brock Lesnar mannerism. It's that NXT has a star-creating factory. Like, it just seems like every week they seem to just be like, I'm just going to create a new star this week. For no reason. Like, they've done it with Bronson Reed. This week, Ridge Holland seems to be a big star. They were doing it with Dexter Lumis till he got injured. I don't know if we're talking about that right now or, I don't know when you want to talk about that. But it just seems like it is a factory of like, or over wealth of how much they can create a star. Like, it's like, who you want to feature this week? Let's make him a star. Okay, Damian Priest. Let's just do some shit with him. Done. He's a star now. Like, everybody has these star-making performances. It's just not translating to viewers.
Well, in that situation, I think, but they also go back and they take a step backwards. Like, the fact that Finn Balor didn't get into the match, Johnny Gargano didn't get into the match, and then next thing you know, you get the Dexter Lumis injury, and now we're going to have the people who didn't get pinned get the fight to get into the match. So now I think it's Gargano, Balor, and Ridge Holland, right? They're fighting each other for that last spot or something of that nature. And
but I feel like that was always going to happen.
And then,
I feel like that was bound to happen.
And I think that's the problem with NXT, that we always know that this is going to happen. Like when we have these big moments that a Bronson Reed gets a win, well, we know that Johnny Gargano or Finn Balor are going to find a way to get themselves back into the match.
But no, I don't believe they're getting into the match. I don't think Gargano and Finn are getting into the match. I think they're going to end up fighting each other. Okay. I think they're not getting into the match. I think it's going to be maybe a Ridge Holland or Thatcher or whoever they put in these loser match. And then you also have that other triple threat match with the mystery person. I think that's the fix for the Lumis injury, is that they now have a mystery person into this triple threat match because they honestly probably have no idea who that person is because they expected Lumis to be in this match.
Do you think they've signed someone? That's why it's a mystery? Or do you think it's like, surprise, it's Kevin Owens?
Hey,
that would be nice.
That would be nice. But
you want to boost the rating like Kevin Owens is in this because he's not doing shit on the main roster.
But you would think if they would have somebody as big as Kevin Owens, they would announce that he would be competing in that match.
Maybe they'd do it this week.
So Manny,
Pat McAfee.
I'm going to ask you this question, Manny. How do you feel about the new emotional Keith Lee, who was so caught up in his feelings that even the annoying Cameron Grimes couldn't make him not really move because he just wants Karrion Kross?
I get the story and everything that's going on, but if this is Keith Lee's star power, right here, they do this, and then a bubble coming, someone with a needle come in.
This is science. That was science.
I think it's done. I'm showing a different dimension to him, but I don't like it.
So, about a month ago, you were all in on the Keith Lee push. Are you now at this point where you think he needs to have some more seasoning, that he might not be ready for that push that everybody wanted?
The problem I have, and I don't know much about him, what he's done outside of NXT, is can he do both? Can he play both heel and face? And I don't think he can.
Marcus, what about you? You've been a big Keith Lee supporter. Do you agree?
I don't feel like his bubble has burst. I still think he can still do something with him. He was very nonchalant, stoic. I just had a problem with the match of that he should have just eliminated Grimes really easily. It should have been a very quick, like it should like he was handling him. He should just beat the shit out of him, and it should have just been an aggressive side that we haven't seen. And to the point where he may lose the match because he was disqualified for beating the garbage out of Cameron Grimes. That should have been like his emotional release. But instead, he just had a normal match, and it wasn't what I wanted. And maybe this is what that new writing team is going to come in and do, is that throw that seasoning in on Keith Lee to make him look more of a monster.
Keith Lee's expression throughout the whole match is like our expressions when we listen to a Keith Lee promo.
He got a point. Now, Marcus, I'm tired of you sitting here and disrespecting the great Cameron Grimes' name, man. I'm just letting you know, Marcus. Cameron Grimes, to me, is a bigger star than Keith Lee. I thought Cameron Grimes was the best thing in that entire match of Keith Lee. When anytime Keith Lee was trying to put his hands on him, he would step outside the ring. He would run from him. When Keith Lee hit the Grizzly Magnum on Cameron Grimes, the way that Cameron Grimes sold that, it made that move look more and more impressive. I thought that this match with Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes did a great job of showing the monster that Keith Lee can be. However, I just felt that his expressions, his actions, like, I don't understand why he's so emotional over Dijakovic when Dijakovic was the one that said, hey, I got this. Like, it's his reaction is not carrying over for me.
His friend is dead.
His friend is still alive.
His friend's in the Retribution.
You don't know that. We don't know his friend's in the Retribution. I'm just saying his friend died. And back to the triple threat match, would you rather see Velveteen Dream make his epic return and come back into the light because he's dealt with all his personal issues, or Tommaso Ciampa, who's just been gone, who might be in Retribution?
He could be. I mean, like, the thing about it, Marcus, you said that you felt Keith Lee could have just dominated Cameron Grimes. He did.
No, though.
Huh?
Cameron Grimes got that crossbody flip move he got that don't make any physics sense. And I was like, a big fan of shit involved in that. But it just, like, seeing shit like that really bugs me because it made no sense to me.
But at the same time, Marcus, it was...
Charlotte has a better chance at doing a moonsault and pinning Brock Lesnar than that move right there.
So, Manny, since you're not in this, who's right in this situation, me or Marcus? Do you think Cameron Grimes had too much, or do you think that he had just the right, that he made Keith Lee look better?
I feel like Keith Lee should have destroyed him. Like, if you're that angry and so monotone in all your facial expressions, you should have destroyed him. As much as I like Cameron Grimes, he should have destroyed him.
He should have killed him. It should have been over. I'm just saying. And that's all I have to say about that.
Shit,
Karrion Kross went full Murder Hawk after, though. Did you appreciate him killing those random guys? I think one of them had been Danny Burch or Oni Lorcan. I don't know.
No, it was Danny Burch because they have a match next week.
I thought it was Oni Lorcan he was getting Retribution. No, I don't know.
Marcus, Oni Lorcan has already lost in the triple threat match. Looks like he beat up the Coda, the finest in the back, but no one cares about him. And then next thing you know, it was Danny Burch. You're going to get him to Danny Burch next week. Who knows?
Why?
Well,
why?
Manny, it's the same reason why we got Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma beating up Breezango. We don't need it.
Yeah, but they disrespected him.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also didn't need
all of Lucha Wrestling.
But we also didn't need Tegan Knox versus Indy Hartwell.
No, we did not.
Well, Indy Hartwell had a point to prove. She already beat Shotzi Blackheart, which you needed to remind Tegan Knox at the start of this match before getting kicked in the face.
I beat Shotzi Blackheart. You understand? I ain't no typical jobber. I beat Shotzi Blackheart.
You know the lady in the green hair that's always dancing on Raw.
So I beat the shit out of that.
So the triple threat is the mystery person, Kushida, and Cameron Grimes. I look forward to. I want Cameron Grimes to win, but I know he's not because Marcus would never let that happen. The only thing that happened with the
Might pull it out.
The only thing that happened with the Indy Hartwell Tegan Knox match, that was just a match to have Pat McAfee on there first, where he was starting his commentating. Then he stayed around for the main event, which it had my favorite moment that's not even wrestling related that happened is when Beth Phoenix got fed up with what he was saying. And said, you know what? I've had enough of this disrespect. And I'm walking off the show.
I don't have to hear this shit. I'm gonna put some Chef R&D in a pot and feed it to me and Edge's kids to Rory and Lyric, or Ruby and Lyric. I forget their names. Randy already said it a million times. But I'm gonna go take out with my kids. I ain't gotta hear this shit. I'm closing my laptop.
The thing that I hated the most about this is that it took away from what was a very good match on NXT. Kyle O'Reilly returned to television. They were fighting Imperium. They were reliving a battle from when worlds collide. And then I have to deal with this punter that I don't really know who he is. People always say, oh, he was a punter in the NFL. I knew him as the guy that wore shorts at WrestleMania. That's where I knew Pat McAfee from. Didn't even know he had a radio show. And then, I find out he's a punter.
The YouTube show.
He punts Adam Cole. I get it. It knocks him out. I would prefer to watch the main event match. That's just me. I'm a big Kyle O'Reilly fan. Marcus, you go first on this.
So yeah, it did take away from that main event, but as I said on the Untitled Mania Market Show every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. live, Pacific time, Eastern time, 2 p.m. and GMT time, 7 p.m. We continue to digress. As I said, I was expecting something else. I was not. I know when Pat McAfee came out, I knew that the show was ending with Pat McAfee, but I still wanted more. I wanted a rematch between Imperium and Undisputed Era at this TakeOver 30 to find out who really is the dominant faction. I didn't get that. I was expecting maybe Walter would show up and some shit would happen.
You guys keep wanting Walter.
I know, but I feel like this was a time that he could have came out. However, when, the McAfee and Cole stuff started happening, he'll be like, I can hear you, dude. Damn. Why are you talking all this shit? And him getting kicked in the head. I was in. I was like, you know what? Adam Cole got fucked up. Pat McAfee is gone. And he said, fuck NXT and everybody else in it. I was okay with that.
My whole thing is, though, Pat McAfee is not a big enough star for this traction. You could have insert any wrestler on the NXT roster.
I feel like he is.
Really?
So he's not big enough in terms of the word celebrity, but when in the world of sports, given that he's doing a lot of bits and pieces everywhere, especially with the NFL connection and the fact that he's always on and off ESPN and ESPN in the morning or whatever their show is, Get Up or something, he's on and off on that show. I feel like he's a big enough star to draw in extra numbers because it's a sports. ESPN is just sports. If you can drag some of the ESPN viewers onto this, I think you're going to get more eyes on the product. I think that's the idea of it. It's like, yes, he's not an A-list celebrity like, I don't know who you want
but Manny,
on the show.
Mike Tyson?
Manny, let me cut you off right here, though, because El Luchador says NXT is supposed to be for the hardcore wrestling fans. So why would you bring this little extra bit of seasoning that mainly hardcore fans won't care about?
Because they care about the ratings. They care. They want to win. Nobody's just in the game to play.
We play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Pat McAfee, weirdly, has more talent on a microphone than Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio. And if anyone disagrees with me, come find me. I'll stab you in the neck.
Let me tell you this. Pat McAfee is a heat generator. He reminds me of a young Kevin Federline out there talking all his shit.
Wow.
And he's been training to be a wrestler. Is believing that he can sucker punch Adam Cole. Adam Cole will probably beat the brakes off of him. There may be shenanigans. Maybe he brings other NFL guys in here to counteract the other members of the Undisputed Era. There could be a lot. This has gotten more publicity than Jericho and Mike Tyson.
So are you comparing Pat McAfee to Lawrence Taylor, Marcus?
What?
Are you comparing Pat McAfee to Lawrence Taylor?
I am comparing them to a 2020 edition, a budget pandemic edition, in which we're not going to blow our entire budget on some random celebrity who's never been trained in the ring. Pat McAfee has had wrestling training.
He's got a wrestling ring in his house.
Yeah, he's actually been working on this, and it's going to probably be a basic match they have where Adam Cole probably dominates and he gets to do a bunch of heel shit and somehow get the advantage. But it seemed like this has generated the buzz they wanted. It was nice juice. They had the blow up on his show. I think this was a good segment. I am defending this segment. And a punt kick to the head will knock out anybody, especially if you're a fucking punter.
My favorite part, though,
in the head.
my favorite part is Hunter's shove on Pat McAfee. Like,
he done it twice.
Yeah. So let's talk about.
Yep. By the way, Pat McAfee had a WWE.com exclusive, and when he was driving off, and he yelled into the camera, and he was like, hold on, you work for NXT? I told you I'm done with this place. Screw the WWE, screw NXT, screw everybody involved in this stupid, crappy-ass company. And then he spat off into the night. I don't think that was the safest way to drive.
This man said he could be as good as Stephen Amell in the ring.
Possible. At least he tried. At least Stephen Amell tried.
So, can we talk about what I like to call the wild card wrestling show of the week? The show that you don't know what you're going to get, and that is Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown really is a show that I honestly can't predict. It's a show that you and Manny have not talked about yet. It's the one exclusive to the audio recording. And honestly, it started off in the most bizarre fashion with Matt Riddle and Sheamus in a hellified street, I said.
Let me tell you how random SmackDown has been. Remember the 80s opening of everybody tell you what they gonna do that night? Yeah, they're done with that this week.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus,
they already threw away something that they established 2 weeks in a row. Like, we're not doing that anymore. We're going straight to the ring this time.
For all we know, Jacky Johnson might appear on Friday Night SmackDown. That's how wild this shit is. So it starts off.
It's Danny Hayes
with Matt Riddle against Sheamus, and they're in a hard-hitting match. It's a fight. Like, pretty much you think they got beef against each other. But then
put them in a fight pit. Put them in the underground.
But then the match is thrown out because Shorty G decides, for whatever reason, he needs to interfere in this match. And Sheamus is irate. And they both end up, Riddle and Sheamus end up beating up Shorty G. And then, it was one of the most bizarre matches I've seen. Marcus, can you please explain to me what was going?
You made it sound like they did a King of a Mountain match. Like, it's the most bizarre match I've ever seen. They had a wrestling match. It was interrupted by Shorty G for no reason. If Shorty G really wanted this bout, he'll let Sheamus do his dirt and continue to beat on Matt Riddle. Because Sheamus looked like he had full control. Matt Riddle didn't look like he was going to beat that 10 count anyway.
But Marcus, I told you, if someone beats Matt Riddle, that's the bounty. I believe if Sheamus would have beat... I believe
you have to cripple him.
I don't know. Well, Sheamus was on the road to crippling him, man. He was on that road.
You gotta put shoes on the boy. That's how bad you can do it. You can put shoes on him. That's how bad you beat his ass. So that's what Shorty G, and I don't understand. My question is,
I never heard that.
And I'm gonna pass this one to Manny. Do you think this is one of the things that has hurt the WWE product is finishes like these, in which you're involved in a good match and then they do some shortcut DQ, similar to the Bayley or the Sasha and Baszler match?
Well, at least this DQ made sense. That someone came out and attacked someone involved in the match, whereas the other one, are we DQing her for intent?
For existing. When the previous week they did the exact same thing with her chasing off Kairi Sane. Technically, what Bayley killing Kairi Sane could have DQ'd Sasha last week. That's the rule. That's the precedent they set.
But the interest.
I don't think it's ruining wrestling. I think as long as I don't know.
The question's not they're ruining wrestling. I mean, is it turning the fans off? Because in AEW, you never get a finish like this, in which it's like, we're going to throw the match out because somebody does some random cheap shot to somebody.
Well, you know why you don't? Because they get the rule book and they throw it. out,
Well,
out of
when
sight.
you go that route, you're right.
No, but I'm just saying.
They fun kicking away.
Well, Marcus, I think the thing that you might be a little bit too hard because of all the other matches, like the Shayna and Sasha match, really the ending didn't make any sense as I hold the pen in my hand and make myself seem more intelligent. But I felt afterwards the reactions of all the participants made sense. Like, first, Matt Riddle's like, dude, why the fuck you out here? We having this match. What are you doing? And then Sheamus like, man, you done cost me my pay window. I was about to whoop this dude ass. So them both beating up Shorty G made complete sense. And then Matt Riddle expression when he finds out that he wins via disqualification and he gets to go to the pay window. So that means that's more marijuana to put into his pipe to smoke. He was all good. And then right after that, you have Sheamus going and finding Baron Corbin like, hey man, what the fuck with your little bounty that you got costing me matches and shit. And Baron's like, I ain't got time for this. I gotta go fight Jeff Hardy. I was like, oh shit.
No, Baron was hollering that woman.
Baron was spitting his game. As a king, he was on top of that. He was telling her everything. And then Sheamus, and this is when the feud got personal to me, is when you came messing up when I'm macking at this girl, this white girl who shouldn't probably be in the back at this current moment, but is back there, a traditional ring rat, and he is telling her what he's gonna do to her, basically. And then Sheamus come over here and talk about, kill your punk ass bitch so I can get my match? You ruined my day. He ruined his day.
By cock blocking.
Yeah, it was the ultimate cock block. And that's when this became a blood feud.
So who's the bigger cock blocker? Zelina or Sheamus right now?
What did Zelina do?
Zelina stopped because if you recall, Garza was talking to the Bachelorette, and then he went to go talk to Chuck, and she came and was like, "What you doing?" Like,
Well, Zelina is a person with values and believe in marriage. And Garza, who recently got married, shouldn't be hollering at the lady.
He was engaged, Marcus.
He shouldn't be doing that.
Well, neither should new father, Angelo Dawkins. Should he be trying to hook up with the Bachelor girl?
Yeah, I mean, come on. So,
this might got social media because these wrestling characters make no sense.
So let me tell you.
All we know, Garza was trying to get involved in some entanglement, and so was Angelo Dawkins.
So I enjoyed the opening. I thought Sheamus, the Bounty, Baron Corbin, all that was entertaining. But then we go to the dirt sheet. The dirt sheet with Mandy's hair, this Sonya Deville, it took extremely too long, and I needed this segment to end. Mandy, did you care about Mandy's hair?
I found it was funny.
Really?
Like, I found this whole like dirt sheet thing funny for this week, and I don't know why. I think it's googly eyes. Anytime you put googly eyes on something, I start laughing. There was one time in my store I got hold of googly eyes. I stuck them on every magazine I got in contact with. This is the shit that makes me laugh.
To me, I thought Miz and Morrison were entertaining as hell. And them just talking shit about random stuff and them that go with their catchphrase and, oh, hair, yeah. It was so cheesy and so, like, it was 80s hillish, or I don't know. It just worked. And that the fact that they just had a animated hair just bopping up and down and they were doing the voices themselves for the hair. I just thought it was so stupid, but it was entertaining. And it got more entertaining when Sonya, who I think should have been the promo that started this show, was talking her game. Sonya Deville, who I believe needs to also dye her hair white to look like Cruella Deville a little bit, and then just go in there and was talking mad shit in her, as I'm giving her the best dressed wrestler of the week. Yes, she beat Kyle O'Reilly hat.
I just want to point out, though, but the problem with Sonya Deville is that Sonya Deville needs to calm down a little bit when she's talking, because she's talking a mile a minute. And it's like, she's like, I only got 2 minutes. I'm getting everything out that I need to say.
But I believe her.
Yeah, I believe her, and I feel like she's one of the few that's excelled in this
pandemic,
in the COVID era.
Okay. Someone who did not excel was a match that I like to call a prototypical squash match. That was Cesaro defeating Lince Dorado, who actually got a little bit of mic time before the match. Yeah, he talked, man.
Yeah, he was talking about being in a party or something like
Yeah.
that.
Wait, how did I miss this? I did not remember that.
Man, you turned to the Dodger game.
No.
Okay. Otis and Tucker got interviewed by Kayla Braxton. Pretty much, they sick of Miz and Morrison shit. I don't want this match. This is Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't think he should be involved in the Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Miz and Morrison storyline.
I think someone's going to challenge him for that briefcase, and he's going to lose.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the Miz or Morrison is going to take that briefcase away from in honor of Mandy. And hopefully, if it's the scenario I want and the scenario I need, I need Morrison to challenge him for the briefcase and Mandy Rose punching Otis into the nuts, giving John Morrison the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Nah, Marcus, I want it this way. I want it this way, where he's putting a decision where it's him or his peach. And then his peach turns on him anyway.
You guys are awful. But
I want the turn. I need Fire and Desire to get back together, by the way.
Well, considering...
Although, I don't want them to... I want Sonya to have her own career. I don't know. I just want him to lose their briefcase to John Morrison.
So, now it's time for the most controversial moment of Friday Night SmackDown for two reasons. First reason is The Fiend makes his way to the ring. It goes to commercial. It comes back, Alexa Bliss is in the ring. He's going to put his hand in her mouth again, and then she gives...
I thought I was watching a replay.
Then she gives...
I thought that was a replay.
Me too. Then she gives him the tender touch, and then the next thing you know, might be the moment of the week, because it showed that Braun Strowman ain't shit. And he was like, do you think I care about Alexis? I don't care about Alexa. I got my title now. You unlocked the monster in me. And I'm like, I did not expect this to come.
Heroic.
I was like, so is he now the bad guy now that he's going to leave Alexa there to be raped and pillaged? Marcus?
What? I felt like he was in his bathroom stall cutting this promo.
Two, he was recording it on a potato.
Yeah. I actually liked the promo. But I was shocked to hear him go, you think I give a damn about Alexa? And which proves that when you fight the Fiend, you change it. But I thought they took the story right away. I was like, wait, he can't say that until Alexa turned on him, right? She didn't do anything but give Braun the tender touch, which apparently stopped the Fiend in his tracks. Oh.
You know, maybe he's trying to use reverse psychology because, you know, JoJo still got that baby weight on her. You know, Alexa Bliss got the little spike outfit on that she had on last week. He's like, you know, the way, I'm going to say it, fuck it. The way his hand felt inside of her mouth when he had the mandible claw, he was like, man, she can do some things. Just saying.
Wow.
I think that's a touch above what he said he was going to do to Stu Grayson's mom.
But I'm not saying anything. I just said that maybe his hand felt really good in Alexa's mouth, and he was like,
Eric, stop while you're ahead.
I'm just
I'm trying too far.
The Fiend is the Fiend.
It was forceful injury. Forceful injury. I'm just saying.
But she seems like she likes it.
I have a question. So we have brought up the topic in the last couple of weeks about friendship, about Asuka saving Kairi.
Oh yeah.
And we've got Keith Lee allowing Dijakovic to die.
Don't forget Donkey's allowing Montez to fight too.
Is Nikki Cross a bad person for not even giving a shit about Alexa Bliss?
Well, she pushed her last week, right? She pushed her last week and said she was done. I'm done with this shit. It's your fault why I didn't win, Alexa. I hate you. But, no, I give her no fault. She's done with it.
Eric, you're done for in the chat.
I don't even care. I'm just saying this is, I'm trying to explain why the tender touch of Alexa calmed the Fiend down. I'm not really sure why.
You're talking about the force-free entry of his hand going like, oh, this mouth can do something. Like, that's terrible. You need to apologize to
That, my friend, is a Mortal Kombat fatality.
I apologize if my comment has offended anyone.
That touch appealed to him. That's all you had to do. It softened the Fiend up.
That's just as bad as what I said. I'm just saying. Come on, man.
It wasn't. It just softened him up.
Whatever.
Do you think the Fiend just needed some attention?
Yes.
Like someone to care about him.
He needed that tender caress.
You could have went that route, Eric, but no, you went the disgusting route. Mind in the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter.
This is why you can't be involved in Brandy's heels, okay? AEW heels. This is why. You're a piece of shit, just like the rest of these wrestling fans. When you look at Alexa and all you go to her and say is, "Show me what that mouth do." That is absolutely terrible. You are a horrible person. You are a horrible person.
I said this is the possible explaining Bray's action. That's all I said.
Dig in that hole. You're as dead as that guy behind me.
So, Jeff Hardy went against Baron Corbin, and this match led to Jeff Hardy winning via DQ because Sheamus is like, if I can't go to the pay window, your ass can't go to the pay window. And this led to a match between Sheamus and Baron Corbin, a match that I didn't really need, but Matt Riddle let Sheamus beat Baron Corbin, and I enjoyed all of this.
Yeah.
I love the pettiness of this all.
This is the pettiest feud in wrestling right now. And I believe this may have turned Sheamus' face. I'm not sure, but it seemed like they went down that direction.
Did you like Bayley being distraught that Sasha made that match against Asuka next week?
Marcus. Yeah, the dissension's perfect.
Yeah. They did a perfect a little bit of seed dissension. And there's part of me that believes that Sasha is going to win that Battle Royal next week and say, "Bayley, I'm coming for your belt too."
I love the mention of Stephanie McMahon's name and both of them just like shit their pants and stood up straight and then went outside to the ring.
Hey man, it's
full ass kissing in the segment. You can watch all your greatness on the WWE Network for $9.99, which is something that no one has said in months. They were just ass kissing. But you can see Sasha just being totally fake. Just absolutely fake in the entire time of the ring. They're perfect.
I mean, it's one of those things that Stephanie being involved in their life and she's not involved in anything else. I mean, it's interesting to the fact that I'm tired that the mans have to show up on TV when ratings go bad. And it's like, anytime ratings go bad.
She's unadvertised.
Huh? Yeah, but maybe it's like one of those things. Oh, Stephanie's on SmackDown. Turn to it. I don't know.
Well, I feel like this is the problem for not having anyone as a voice of reason on the show. Like at least you've got William Regal, even if he is at home.
Yeah, you got that. Like the main problem is Stephanie McMahon found it's more important to deal with the Sasha and Bayley issue than Retribution, who's out there throwing Molotov cocktails at your damn generator, making the lights flicker throughout your show. That should be addressed. That Shane McMahon has decided to do Raw Underground, an illegal gambling fighting ring with strippers and blackjack. Like that is.
What's that blackjack there?
No one. It was in the corner. You missed it. But that's being addressed. That's where the continuity falls. That Bayley and Sasha have exceeded over that. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, there needs to be someone out there handling the day-to-day operation. They have Antifa problems, Eric. Antifa.
Okay. And the main event that nobody wanted, pretty much it was Otis.
Don't you dare skip over Big E's promo.
Okay, Manny, talk about your boy Big E's promo then.
Well, my boy Big E.
Dude, Dave.
Setting himself up for greatness.
Yes.
That promo was fire and everything. The man needs to be on top.
Yeah, he is absolutely one of the most entertaining people it was like the New Day never existed in this promo. He was on his own. He went to different dimensions. He was doing everything that I want Keith Lee to do, but more, because Keith Lee can't do anything like that. Because he was entertaining, he was energized. You saw anger, you saw fun. This was a star in the making, and Big E is your next Universal Champion.
He's learned enough over the last few years, working with Kofi, that I think he's ready now. It's his time to shine.
Yeah, his solo match with The Miz. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to this singles run, the journey, as he said, of his singles career. He doesn't know where it's gonna take him, but by God, he's gonna make it his. And he inspired me to go out there and go take what's rightfully mine. And I believe he is in charge of the Retribution.
So what you're saying?
Which is gonna be renamed into the Cause.
So what you're saying? He's gonna get his Retribution now, going forward.
Yes. The 5 count's coming back too.
So Marcus, since Retribution is your background, I'm taking it that you really enjoy Retribution destroying the set of Friday Night SmackDown.
Well, no, I just thought it'd be the appropriate background for this week. I was like, oh, because I believe that was the big talk of the WWE program, and maybe of all of wrestling, was Raw Underground and Retribution. And there was no way I could be in the Underground. It just seemed hot and musty in there. Me being Musty Rose.
But you brought the strippers to your show.
Huh?
You brought the strippers to your show.
You know how much that cost me, Eric? Just like Thanos, everything.
A soul for a soul.
A soul for a soul to get those strippers, all right? There is some dead hooker on the street now because of this, all right? And I don't like who I am. I don't like who I've become, okay? I've apologized to Stu Grace's mom. I apologized multiple times. I do not like the man I've become. But with that being said, I thought the ending was newsworthy. I enjoyed the flimsy chainsaw because I was like, that can't be a real chainsaw. But the fact that they destroyed it with the spray paint that wouldn't work, but they had issues. They were small, but it left you with what's going to happen next? If the Performance Center in danger, how are we going to watch Monday if these guys come back? And I was intrigued about their destruction. Yes, it was flawed. They didn't beat up the right people in the audience. I wanted them to take out more of those people in the audience. But I enjoyed it. They had bats and lead pipes.
I don't care, Marcus. They weren't big enough. There was more of the people in the crowd that are trained professionals that could have taken them out by force if they all bounded together. Like, all you needed was that guy in the crowd that's always way too hyped to be in the crowd.
Yeah. But
they go, come on, guys.
They like pipes, and you don't know who it is. That could be Tommaso Ciampa. They didn't want none of that. These guys are jobbers out there. Shotzi Blackheart would have died. She would have died. She didn't know who was out there.
Shotzi Blackheart would have died trying.
She ran. But
not as fast as Michael Cole.
Michael Cole dipped. Him and Corey Graves dipped. They don't pay me to deal with Antifa. I'm out. Like, you don't know if they had any more Molotov cocktails. You didn't know what they were going to do. I respect the fact that this team ran out. And to say that these guys are too small, but
we borrowing you, Eric.
Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, and Gargano and Cole, all these little fools running around. It's believable that these little fools can take over WWE. I'm just saying. One of them is Ricochet. I know, I swear to God, one of them is Ricochet. I looked at his eyes.
I see how you guys' show goes so low because I'm holding judgment out for these little guys known as Retribution. I gotta wait and see what they're gonna really do because I don't know if they're game changers. I just don't know yet.
Well, it kind of reminds me of when Nexus came, but like it wasn't executed as well. Like these guys came out with spray cans. Neither of them knew how they worked.
Spray cans are complicated. Sometimes they brand new cans. See, these were brand new cans.
Marcus, you shake them and then you press down. They're not hard to use, Marcus.
No. Sometimes you gotta really spray it earlier. You gotta get it going. Otherwise, it won't work. I know I have a history of spray painting. I'm just saying you have to spray paint earlier.
He's lying.
In the day. No, it's true. You have to spray paint earlier.
What have you spray painted?
Yes. What have you sprayed?
I did some art projects in work, okay? It's not like I did wall.
Art projects.
No, at work and at school. Like, it doesn't matter.
School.
Spray cans are trick. Yeah. We did some projects when I had wood class.
You're going back to high school?
High school, homie?
Marcus, you know spray can technology has advanced since back then.
I don't give a damn. You don't know what year these cans are used. Or if this was a cheap kind. I'm just saying, it don't work efficiently sometimes. And I had no problem with the spray cans not working off the top. But this is not the final product of Retribution. I have intrigued on who these people are. I urge judgment out. I'll wait until, like, it's going to mean a lot more if the big dog is running Retribution. Or if Sami Zayn.
Why would the big dog be running Retribution?
Huh? He need revenge. I don't know why. He the big dog. Or as somebody said, someone posted, this might be the Evolve roster.
Marcus,
because they did purchase Evolve. This could be all of the Evolve guys coming in.
I'm telling you now, if one of them is Leon Ruff, I'm all in.
they're gonna be known as the Rough Bunch.
Take all my money.
Marcus, you missed in the chat. Manny has just announced that he is Banksy.
Manny is not Banksy. It's a fact.
Well, Chris asked me that. Chris has said that I have done a lot of vandalism, as I seem to know how spray cans work.
Wow. So with that being said, it's now time to go to emails, and with that, Chris has our first email. He says,
"Wait, did he send one or two?"
Like the Retribution.
He has two.
You guys didn't care for the Retribution.
I'm leaving judgment out, man. Personally, for me, I'm just gonna wait and see. I've seen Invasion Eagles done so many times. It's just like it's kind of one of those things that keep happening in wrestling that I'm kind of sick of. For me.
Well, you know why? I feel like this one doesn't work as good as the other ones. No crowd. What are you rating the Performance Center? Who gives a shit about the Performance Center? If you were going to Staples Center or Madison Square Garden and you're chainsawing ropes, the crowd would go, "Oh my god!" And you can cut to the crowd. You had nothing to cut to here. You just had random camera shots of them just trying to do shit.
So now, can I read the email, Marcus?
No, fuck these emails. I'm out. I'm just go ahead.
All right. He says, "I missed being a part of y'all shows last week. It just wasn't the same. Let's begin with some anything but wrestling. Eric, I'm going to be the bigger person, and I forgive you for what you did. You're welcome." Thank you, Chris. Marcus.
You're forgiving him for Alexa?
Marcus.
No, so if you don't remember, it was there was several emails about Eric not paying attention to the chat, and then Chris also on one of the shows, I think it was the Tuesday show, commended me for defending Eric last week because it is not difficult to pay attention to the chat and host a show.
He says, "Marcus, after that run-in you did to Ryan, you are officially my favorite podcaster. Take a bow."
Yes!
Ryan, you were more chill than I expected you to be. From the stories I've heard from your brothers, I expected some loose cannon who would smoke a blunt on the show and look like Busy Bone. So first, before I continue the email, Ryan is full of shit. You guys got fake Ryan. That is fake Ryan. Right, Marcus?
It is 100% fake, right?
Yeah, I mean, he tries to portray.
"Hello, mom, how are you?"
Yeah.
And then, or, "Oh my god, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long." And go over there. This is great. Is that a pie? Let me tell you, that's the best pie I've ever had.
So you got work Ryan / Ryan meeting his girlfriend for the parents for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we say he ain't shit. He knows why we say he ain't shit. Good old Manny, I need your advice since you're supposedly in public relations. How do you end a conversation with someone who is Chris Jericho words won't shut the hell up? The other day I was trying to leave work when a coworker kept yammering on and on about what, hell if I know, wasn't fully paying attention. But good Lord, the dude had me there for another 15 minutes after I clocked out. I didn't want to be rude and say, "Would you please shut the hell up?" I was walking away. He followed. I did the all right thing. Nope, another story followed. So what you got for me, man of HR? Also, Manny, do you consider me the salt of the earth? Manny and Marcus, y'all need to get Lucha on the next watch alone so we can see Mask. Maybe feature him once a month if he's available. I'll send another email later. I need some corn on the cob. So while I find this other email, Manny, could you answer those questions?
Why does he need corn on the cob?
I think the easiest thing to say is, "Sorry, man, I've got to go," and bounce, and make sure he's not going in the same direction as you.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta do.
That's usually what I do. It's like, "Hey, man, I gotta go. I'm out later." I don't even be that nice with it.
Yeah, don't give him an opportunity to give you like another story or anything. I really got to go.
As we established earlier, not only can I create someone named Jacky Johnson, but I'm also a man that just don't give a fuck. So I mean,
or Chris, you could do one thing. You grab your phone, you put it on silent, so no one tries to ring you. And then as you're walking out, you pretend you're on the phone or you call someone, and then walk the hell out.
Ready? I have seen the phone technique so many times done by people. It is always that follow. Oh, excuse me, and they give you that one finger and they walk away, and then they keep walking away.
Yeah, just do it. That's what I would do.
That's it. I have two techniques. It's one when I'm at work because we have a radio headset earpiece. It's always like, "What's that? Copy?" And I just walk away. Sorry, you know. And then my real earpiece is like, "That's great. And just walk away. Like you just walk away from people. You don't have to let them finish."
And Manny,
although I don't understand what he meant by salt of the earth.
Yes, I was gonna ask. Like, do you think he's the salt of the earth?
Like MJF.
No,
I'm assuming. I think the piece of shit, maybe, possibly.
It means you're the pride. You're special.
Okay.
You're the season the earth needs.
I don't think that's the meaning of that, Marcus.
I'm gonna ask him in the chat.
So let me read
I believe that's what that means. I'm 100% right. I know.
Let me read this second email. He says,
I am.
He says, Marcus, Manny, Eric, Ryan, West, Disman, Smurf, Sharpie Wife, Lucha, myself, the man that didn't die at the dock, Lincoln, I need each of you to take out your phones, go to your calendars, look up 1 week ago. Now add a event for 20, 30, 40 years from now. At those times, you need to tell your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and your great-great-grandkids that you bear witness to the event and timestamp of when Manny and I finally agreed on something. For once, Manny didn't have a bad take on something and agreed with me that cats are vile, sickening creatures. Well done, your lordship. I leave you with a fun fact for that week. There was a time when I almost accidentally killed a rabbit.
Go on, I'm intrigued.
That's what he left you with.
What? That's no story.
There's no story.
No.
Chris,
no. You got to live with that mystery forever.
Chris, was this on the Last of Us? When you was that right? Is that the right game where you kill a rabbit?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Our next email comes from Tony.
Too late, baby.
The Sharpshooters podcast truly doesn't get the credit they deserve. Normally, I only watch NXT. However, I woke up early from my shift Monday night and turned on Raw. How you three or anyone else in the Sharpshooters community sits through this drizzle is beyond me. Nia Jax gets a talking segment and beats down some guy. Yeah. She's related to The Rock, but it's that really the only reason she's still employed? I don't see one even remotely good quality about her. Rey Mysterio's son is in the midst of a mega push. Why? He's barely above okay on the mic. As a matter of fact, the interview lady shows more passion and heart than he does. Why is he...
No one's good on the mic these days to defend Dominic. Okay, give him a chance. He hasn't did anything yet. Give Dominic a chance. He's brand new. He's in his 20s. Give him a chance before you kill the kid.
Why is he mad at Seth when his dumbass father is the one who requested the match? Please, WWE, you told us that the universe is in charge. So I'm putting my foot down and saying to hell with nepotism. That is unless the individual is talented. And well, whom do you have on that roster who fulfills that? Orton maybe when he cares enough to give a damn. And no, I'm not adding Charlotte to that list. Jesus, what is the company's obsession with MMA? Vince, just go start your own MMA fed already. Stop trying to spearhead it into your wrestling company and work once, and that was with Brock Lesnar. I'm seriously start your own MMA fed and make it as 80s WWE wacky as possible. Have tag team MMA matches. Have each performer have an over-the-top gimmick. Have a faction who decided to taking down your biggest babyface. Midget MMA fights are an absolute must. Get it all out of your system, McMahon, because you presented Monday was a hot flaming pile of... No words was there. So Samoa Joe gets up in self-face, ready to throw down. But once Dominic shows up, he sits his ass back down again. Thought you was a head rocker, Joe. Thought you made people tap. Good Lord, you guys really sit through 3 hours of this trash every week? And I didn't even see the whole show and it nearly gave me a migraine. Also, those camera cuts just stop. NXT is tomorrow night. Can't wait to get this foulness out of my system. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Tony. Ooh.
I enjoyed Raw.
Yeah, I enjoyed Raw.
I enjoyed Raw. There's a lot of stuff happening. And, you know, the comment about being a, what's their obsession with MMA, pro wrestling is MMA. Technically, it's a bunch of mixed martial arts fighters fighting each other. They didn't do anything in Underground other than take off the ropes.
Does anyone want to play, what did Booker T say this week?
Ooh, what did he say?
Booker T says Dixie Carter was getting busy with Impact Wrestling stars.
He was fucking everybody. She was too hot to trot. She was out there living her milk fantasy.
And what's being quoted enough in this article is Booker T also stated that Carter was living out her MILF's dream.
Marcus know he would.
Yeah, I would. But let her live her life. I mean, she was paying these people. They weren't producing anything for her. But why not? They didn't give her. They just saved the company.
Tony has another email. He said, thanks for giving Rhea another program with the Robert Stone brand. Keeping her away from the title picture for a bit is a smart move and possibly will showcase some of her personality. If anyone can bring it out, it's Mr. Stone. As a bonus, we should be treated to some quality matches against Mercedes, despite the Sharpshooters thinking Martinez is more than capable of having a high-quality match. Shane Thorne deserves better. He shouldn't be this lower card to mid-card gatekeeper. Sure, everyone can't get pushed all at once, but this guy can flat out go in the ring. And if I remember correctly, he's the more charismatic one from the Hispanic, the mighty Don't Kneel. That's such a good damn...
fuck Nick Miller.
That's such a damn good name too. Find something for him to do. Also, put him back in those tights with the leather trench coat. Why is Tyler Breeze so meh on WWE, NXT TV, but so must-see on Up? I mean, left, right. Let him go unscripted and you have gold. Although the kidnapping of Fandango does intrigue me. As far as kidnapping goes...
He was brought back 10 minutes later.
Without his shirt. They somehow just got rid of his shirt.
Yeah, they took him in the parking lot, drove around circles, took his shirt because they thought it was fly, and then they took him to the ringside.
As far as kidnapping goes... Wrestling fascination with having cops on their shows and everything being filmed. How do these things keep happening and little to no investigations ever happens? Who's that blonde interview girl? Bye. I wish my voice was as cool as Damian Priest. Holland has a cool theme. I need to be a talent scout for NXT or in creative. I remember saying Lorcan and Birch should be a team and nearly a year before it happened. I'll give them a manager and an attitude change and push them.
It's not like it was a good thing.
Speaking of teams, I really miss...
Nothing's happening with Logan and Bird. They can just do what they do. I don't feel like there's nothing more than what they do already.
Speaking of teams, I really miss the young grizzled veterans. Stinking COVID. Another other sport athlete versus a wrestler. Joy, and if it wasn't crystal clear, that was sarcasm. Also, it's the year 2020. Can we please stop with DX appearances? ABW. Marcus, favorite B-level movie, Marcus?
B-level movie?
Yeah.
I consider The Fast and Furious pretty B-level. Like, those are just trash. I don't know. I don't have it.
Yeah, but I like those because you can suspend your disbelief for at least 2
No,
hours.
I don't suspend my disbelief. I like laughing at how ridiculous it is. It's like
Yeah, that's the whole point. I just suspend my disbelief and enjoy what I'm watching. Because it's so insane.
You don't have a favorite B-level movie, Marcus?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. B-levels, you know. It's good.
It was good, but not great.
Give me an example of a B-level movie.
I
Like,
don't
what
know.
is the example of that?
I don't know.
You guys want...
The Last Dragon is probably a C-level movie.
That's right. That's it. Just so bad it's good, kind of. Which we will do a watch-along on coming soon.
So, Marcus, maybe a B-level movie would be like a Fast and Furious movie?
Probably in that franchise. I know you got your Resident Evil and shit.
An Underworld, man. Don't disrespect Resident Evil in the Underworld. Those are gems, man. Gems.
I don't know. I don't. Movies are just movies. I don't know what a B level. I don't know. It's like cyber. It's
so
either,
Marcus, since you can't answer your question, maybe you can answer the question he posed to me because I think you know the answer. For new listeners, explain your dislike for Lamont Sanford, Eric?
Oh, Lamont's a bum. Lamont's a bum. Here he is living with Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son, if you guys aren't familiar with the reference. He's just living with his dad. He ain't taking care of him. He's just freeloading. Lamont wouldn't have been shit if his dad never had his junkyard. So he's working with him. And then every single time he's bitching and moaning about his living situation, about how, oh, I can have this, I can have that. If it wasn't for you, Pop. No, you couldn't, Lamont. You a dumb-ass, broke-ass, busted-ass, scrub-ass, no good piece of shit nigga. And I'm going to say that without the N-word. That's how passionate that was. I didn't even mean to say that. But he a bum.
And exactly what Marcus said is the reason why I don't like Lamont Sanford. And so I realized that Marcus, calling The Last Dragon a sea-level movie turned the chat against me, man. They turned against me real quick.
Yeah, so you got How Dare You, Eric, from both Chris and El Luchador. And then Chris, I feel like should be the word of the week. Said The Last Dragon is magnanimous. I can't even say it.
That's why I didn't say it. Nope, you didn't say it right. You didn't say it right.
Magnanimous.
And Manny, your question is, how have you not given up on the JETS yet?
You gotta stay humble. Guys, just like this water bottle says, you gotta stay humble.
You don't. You can leave the Jets. But no, the Jets aren't the problem. To me, the Jets have had signs of like, they may overcome this. They may act good. The Rex Ryan years seem like the Jets may overcome. The Chad Pennington days. They seem like the Jets
that wasn't Rex Ryan's time. Rex Ryan was the Sanchez. Mr. Butt Fumble himself.
Yeah. But no, did he have a decent quarterback before that or something? I don't know. I'm just saying.
So when Rex Ryan came in, they drafted Mark Sanchez for Rex Ryan.
Oh. Well, whatever the case may be, they had a bright spot somewhere in there. We had Revis Island, and it seemed like it was going in the right direction.
No.
However, your support of the New York Knickerbockers is it's ridiculous. You should not support them.
I have said numerous times, I am done with the Knicks. I just need a new team. But no.
So, Manny, what are you looking for in a team?
Well, for basketball now, I feel like I just need to feel. I may have to jump on a bandwagon.
So before Jaren Jackson got hurt, I would have said a nice up and coming team to jump on would be the Memphis Grizzlies. They're young, they're scrappy, they're very nice. Marks would probably tell you there's room always available on the Clipper bandwagon to jump on that ship.
Always.
Always,
man. You want to be blessed, man. Come over here.
And Manny, also, this is probably a good time if you want to swear your allegiance now back to the Golden State Warriors. You can do that because they're in the trash right now. But when they're good again next year, they will be hated by everybody.
They're going to sign a free agent of some kind. And I'm telling you, you can go with the 76ers and support Ben Simmons and Embiid in their clusterfuck of getting along. The Clippers are always available. The Mavs with Luka. You can go the route of James Harden and Russell Westbrook in Houston.
I have two perfect.
Or do what everybody that I believe that are just looking to jump on a bandwagon. Join the Lakers. Join the fucking Lakers.
Jacky Johnson just called me and she told me the true answer for Manny. And Manny,
first of all, we need to tell your wife that Jacky Johnson's calling you.
We don't know if Jackie is a male or a female.
For a date. She's always looking booked for a date. No, we accepted it was a female.
Manny, with your passion for supporting teams that lose, there's two teams that you need to support that are always losing that can give you a little bit of excitement. Team number one, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have all the talent in the world, but they can't win.
Yeah, but who wants to support Minnesota? You don't go to New York to Minnesota.
And Marcus,
what a downgrade.
Marcus, I understand what you're saying. So then I go to a team that has a little bit more history. And they have a young up-and-comer player who just made a game-winning shot a couple of days ago, Devin Booker. You can go and support the Phoenix Suns. They have Ayton. They have Booker. They have a nice young nucleus. They have Monty Brown as a coach. I think that's a very good team to pick up.
You mean the guy with the pounce? Period.
John Pena has a email. He says, "What up, Sharpie fam? Just had several questions I would like to ask after this week in wrestling. Number one, who needs to quit wrestling more, Brandy Rhodes or Nia Jax? My vote is for Nia Jax."
I'm going with Brandy.
Nia Jax could have
a better wrestler.
Nia Jax could have a good career as like doing what she used to do, being a plus size model for catalogs and stuff like that.
I think that the problem is that Brandy does some good, but she just doesn't need to wrestle. But she wants to wrestle, and that's the biggest problem.
We're saying in matches, and that's where I disagree 100%. Is that I don't think Brandy could ever do anything Nia Jax. I've seen a good Nia Jax match.
Yeah,
and
Marcus, I'm gonna get close to my camera too. Marcus,
get close to your camera. I'm in your face
Marcus,
too.
Brandy ain't never hurt nobody.
Yeah,
ain't
but Brandy could
nobody.
end up getting hurt for her lack of ability.
She can do both. She can do both. It's lucky we haven't got there. WWE stopped her from wrestling. She's had several matches, tag matches in AEW. She has had less opportunity to hurt somebody. Brandy could hurt somebody as I jump into this motherfucking camera.
Nia hasn't got any better, and she's had more wrestling matches than Brandy. Thank you, Chris, for that.
She's had good matches.
Huh?
She's had better matches.
I'm just saying. Well,
she's had good matches.
Marcus, I think if Brandy had better opponents to wrestle against, she might could have a good match. Quality of opponents, Marcus. Wow.
Behave yourself, Chris.
Wow, Chris. Wow. But that is a valid point too, but I'm not going to repeat that one online. Number 2, was Montez Ford drunk and just using poisoning as an excuse for drinking on the job? Manny?
Yeah.
Well, Marcus answer first. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Did Shane Underground segment come off as a teenager who is so mad at his father that he starts his own company in his father's basement? Also, if you're telling me the fights in Raw Underground are real, does that mean you're also telling me that regular Raw is fake? That's a very good point to make. Marcus and Manny.
No.
Okay. Mark, are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, no.
Why?
No, teacher.
Number 4, what is the shelf life of a wrestler? I ask this because I don't really care if Randy Orton wins championships at SummerSlam. In my opinion, Orton has done everything there is to do in wrestling, and what more could I want to see from him? I imagine we would all feel the same about The Rock and Austin if they hung around for almost 20 years. However, I would like to see Randy in the comedy tag team with R-Truth because I feel like comedy and wrestling is something he's never done. I'll answer this question for you. I think the longevity of a wrestler is until they get hurt, pretty much, because even like Ric Flair is still dragging his ass out there every day, and it's like we don't need to see Ric Flair no more. But
I think he's talking about like how I discussed about Chris Jericho, where I say his character's gone a bit stale. I think that kind of what he's going at for like longevity, like in terms of like let's say the Undertaker gimmick.
Yeah,
that's taking a space of time, but now a gimmick these days will probably last 3 years. Like gimmicks don't really work these days.
Now,
for
Manny,
long periods of time.
I have a question for you. What you saying that Chris Jericho is stale? Would you want to see one more run in WWE, or is he just done for you?
See, Chris Jericho in the last, let's say, 5 years has been on and off wrestling. So like he'd take stints off to do work with his band and stuff like that. So whenever he came in, he would do something different to appear fresh. But now that he's been around for an entire year, almost, it's starting to get a bit jarring on me that it's like, what else can you do? Because he's not in the title picture anymore. He's become basically a mid-carder. And that's where he's stale now. Even though he's still one of the most popular people in the company, which is what he was in WWE. But like you could see when this is the point where he should jump out.
He's being approved too low.
Yeah.
He's overcooked. He's something in the oven that's been overcooked. I think the answer to this question is just pretty much the wrestler and the type of matches they wrestle. Like, I think if Bret Hart never got hurt, I think he could still, not currently, but I think he would have been able to go to like his 50s in the style he wrestled, in which it was very safe. It wasn't spot heavy. He didn't take really many chair shots to the head or anything like that. I know The Miz has a very long-lasting style, which the dude's never going to get hurt wrestling the way he wrestles, and he can continue to wrestle. Ric Flair had a longevity of just like, oh, I just got to be a coward and just run away and get thrown up and down every now and then. So it's all depending on the wrestler, and you have to be able to change it up. You have to be able to reinvent yourself over years. So, like Jericho, I think his time is coming because in the ring he really can't do much anymore. But he should go to like the booth, or if you're like someone like I don't know, I'm out of wrestlers. I'm out of ideas.
So
but I got it.
with some good ideas, I just have a report from a correspondent that's new to the show, Brandy Rhodes. She indicated that AEW Hills was a success last night. They exceeded the memberships that they had, and everyone had a good time in the chat. So to all
they did it!
Yeah. So to all the haters out there, fuck you. I don't think she said that part, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure she meant it.
Our last email comes from the Diz man, the one and only. He said, it's the guy who leaves the kids with a babysitter, the guy who enjoys a good apple fritter. It's the Diz man, folks. He's the champ. What's really good, Sharpies? What's really good? First and foremost, I want to say something to Wes from B More that I didn't say last week. While you may be the champ for now, it takes more than just a title to be the champion. So if you're going to carry that title, carry it with some class, carry it with some dignity, and above all else, remember you now represent the entire state of Maryland. Do not let us Marylanders down. Now then, to begin our time together,
number one contender?
I believe I'm gonna have John, since he's gonna be a guest on the show next week. He's gonna have to make picks. I'm sorry, but he will. He would have to fight for the title, and it will be.
SummerSlam's not for another 2 weeks.
We'll be on the show next week. It'll be 1 week. Oh shit.
Well, we go. He won't have all the picks. Nope.
No.
Well, he can email his picks in.
Okay. Yes, but that's.
I mean, come on. But let's realistically know the matches you can pick. You got Orton, Drew. You got McAfee, Cole at Takeover. Because 2 shows. You have the North American title ladder match, which pretty much at this point will have all its participants almost. And you can kind of make an idea who you think the other people are going to be. Like, we're pretty close to it.
Also, Chris did provide the Salt of the Earth definition. He said Salt of the Earth's definition: an individual or group considered as representative of the best or noblest elements of society.
That's what I said.
So
Okay.
does that apply to Chris in terms of the Untitled Mania Market show?
Now then, to begin our time together, I have a question, and I meant to ask it in the chat.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Is Trent doing Chuck E. T's mom? I mean, I'm sure there's an adult movie called My Best Friend's Mom. Perhaps Sue makes an appearance. So I think he meant to say it's Chuck E. T doing Trent's mom, because that is Sue is Trent's mom. Diz, you probably would have the answer to that question earlier in the show, because I think we answered that question.
Maybe, but he is. He's doing it. He's doing Trent's mom.
So moving on, I want to ask Manny and Marcus a question. Would you guys be willing to listen to any of the Conrad Thompson shows and give a critique on what you heard? What does that even mean, you guys? Who's Conrad Thompson?
He has a million podcasts. He does them with everybody. And
you sound so enthusiastic, Marcus.
They're so long. Like,
wow, man,
yeah.
You got the same enthusiasm that Marcus has.
No, they really are long.
Shows. It's just talking about like old wrestling and
anything he talks about, like especially the ones when he did it with Bruce Pritchett, they were very negative in terms of like anything.
Okay.
He's one of these guys that just didn't seem like he's above all the silliness that is wrestling. When the whole world of wrestling is just ridiculous seriousness and cheese.
All right.
And those are the parts I like. Like when he bitches about like Kane or some shit. I'm like, but that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Oh, hey, just as a reminder, make sure you swing by Amazon and pick up a copy of my books, AWO Big Time Players, episodes 1 and 2, both of them for $15.98. Finally, and this is a simple question, what were some wrestling events that you enjoyed from top to bottom? Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. Remember, if you want to fly, get rid of what's holding you down. Later, guys. So, what's an event that you enjoy from top to bottom?
But just wrestling shows?
I guess, yeah.
I'm going to go with the most recent one me and Marcus watched. SummerSlam 2002 was an amazing show.
Yeah, and it just breezed by. That was an amazing show. I felt like I've seen it before, but I felt like it was all new and everything was fresh and everything was great. It was a great show. Let's go with, I really enjoyed. I don't think I've ever not enjoyed a takeover. Every takeover's been amazing, like from top to bottom, and the way they book everything and scheduling, just been amazing. So there's so many shows. Like I have to go back in time to actually go. Like I really enjoyed that show from top to bottom.
I think the first
You have to
NXT
whisper
UK
like that.
takeover. The first NXT UK takeover was probably one of my best takeovers for the most stupidest spot I've ever seen. And it was Joe Coffey and some other big guy, and they did a joust with chairs.
I remember that spot.
I see that. I see that way.
Mine's is AEW Dynamite.
You just made that up. ECW One Night Stand was probably one of the best shows ever. The original cut before they had to cut all the music in the modern day. But, those were some good shows.
So, I've been talking to Marcus and Ryan. Marcus and Manny. I'm tired. I'm sorry. About maybe doing a watch along with the guys on some stuff. And I have a question. Would you guys prefer for me to watch WCW, something I've never watched, really, Nitro?
You're just going to shit on it.
Or should I try to watch something I really have never watched, and that's ECW?
Ooh. I'd rather see you watch WCW.
Okay.
I'd rather go back and watch WCW.
Nitro?
Like, I enjoyed ECW, but most of their great stuff I've seen so many times of on the best of DVDs and going back. Like, I hate to go through ECW Hardcore TV and go through some of these random episodes because not all of them are really good.
So, are we gonna?
You don't have the music.
If we start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Before they went 2 to 3 hours long.
I can handle the 45-minute episodes. I know that much.
You want to go to the Luger episode debut all the way up until
the first episode. Marcus,
that person will never be in this wrestling ring again.
Marcus, the first episode I know has
Marcus.
I know the first episode has Lex Luger on there, and I don't think that my hate will be as strong as it will be next week for AEW. And you all know why I will hate AEW next week. I will not hold back my hate next week because I told you if those people showed up on the show,
the Rock and Roll Express.
Fuck those guys.
Rock and roll. Hey, you would have hated Talking Shop at Mania because they show up on there. You would have just hated it just because of them. But, it's an entertaining show.
I can't stand those guys. With that being said, this show has been long enough. We have made it to 3 hours.
I told you.
That's all because of Jacky Johnson and her interference with the production of this show, man. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey, Hayes.
Ho, ho! I'm Marcus, the grand finale from the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show!
And this has been another episode.
Also known as Musty Rose.
This has also been another episode of the Sharpshooters podcast. We record every Saturday live at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to help the show up, please go buy a shirt at the storefrontier.com/DSPN. If you want to see a fancy video clip of how it goes down, tune in to Tuesdays and Thursdays to watch the Untitled Manny and Marcus show.
It's not really fancy at all.
Where we put in production.
Let me point out, though, but every time Marcus shows the ad, it mutes him, and he doesn't know why, which is always funny. Hear him argue about, God damn it, why did it mute me again? And that's always amazing. He could always email me that ad, and I could run it on here, but he doesn't do that because he's selfish with his assets. But anyway, we hope you
know where it's located on the file. I just have it in there. I don't honestly know where I saved it.
We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Also, just remember, if you ever run an independent wrestling company and you decide you're going to book Jacky Johnson, she will no-show and put you in a bad situation.
Because Jacky Johnson's exclusive to the Sharpshooters.
Yeah. She want to deal with your shady promoting. We know when she's gonna fight Lord Danny Hayes. Danny Hayes is gonna show up.
No, Marcus, remember, it was Alice Marcus that was going to fight Jacky Johnson. But then Jacky Johnson no-showed, and then she had to fight Lord Daddy Hayes. Man, you got to get the narrative right, Marcus. You got to get the narrative right.
You know this is going to end up in AWO big-time players.
With that being said, Jacky Johnson is free.
Jacky Johnson's the worst. Alice Marcus. What? That's the most unoriginal name ever.
Alice Marcus? It's pretty bad. With that, deuces, we're out.